Hi, everyone. Welcome to a Facebook Live. It has been a while since we've done one. Well, really last week, I guess. But hey, we've got some storms that are going to be rolling in tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Tonight for the next 28 minutes. And then we're into Friday. Happy finally Friday here pretty soon. We will probably take this Facebook Live through Friday morning. However, we might not stay on for the storms as they're moving in. So Josh Rugger would start another live stream. He's going to be in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're already seeing comments, and rightfully so. We've got some severe weather risks that we've got to pay attention to. We've got to watch, but let me go ahead and go into this right here. So we've got some comments from people, and Enid got hit really hard, especially the south side of Enid. Now, here's the crazy thing. I drive through Enid almost all the time when I'm going to my in-laws. We take 412. They live in Booker, Texas, and we drive through Enid. We stop there for lunch and for dinner, and I know that city kind of like the back of my hand, believe it or not. Just on the south side of Enid, Vance Air Force Base took a hit from what looks like potentially a violent tornado, and the circulation was tremendous. There was a tornado emergency briefly that was issued for the southeast side of Eden. This was all earlier today, and we'll kind of go through that and switch it up. Goes, here we go again. Exactly right. I thought this was kind of funny. I look at it like if he doesn't go on live here, then we shouldn't be concerned. And guess what? I went on live here. So do you have to be concerned? Nah, severe thunderstorm warning just to the north of Delaware County in Ottawa County. I'll get to that here in just a bit. That just got answered. But here's prayers for Enid. Man, that Enid tornado was pretty intense for sure on the south side of Enid. So, like, if you know Enid, there's the east side of Enid. You got McAllister's as you're driving into Enid. You've got those essentially, cows that they're statued cows. But anyways, they're on the east side of Enid as you're driving in. It says, "Welcome to Enid." There's that big field. There's a Conoco gas station. All that stuff on the south side had some pretty significant damage. There were some homes on the south side of Enid. Now, direct Enid, like downtown Enid, didn't take a direct hit from this tornado. But boy, was it close. Only about 2 to 3 miles off to the west. So Davion Huggins is in here. Meteorologist Davion Huggins. So let's get into it. And we've got a lot to talk about. I mean, it literally took 5 minutes to go through the entire threats over the next several days. So first of all, let's go into Mega Doppler, shall we? Here's Hall Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the time on there so you can see on Mega Doppler exactly what time we're looking at. And we're talking about 10:35. And because it's just me in the weather lab, I'm going to slide over to the Mega Doppler computer as that camera tracks me. And this is what we're kind of looking at. We're looking at this storm, that severe thunderstorm warning. It makes sense because any line of storms that runs north to south or somewhat in a north to south fashion will have the potential to produce some damaging winds. But if you'll notice this green line right here showing up, that's by Big Cabin, Veneta, Sequoia. All this is cold pool dominant, meaning the tornado potential is non-existent. That just won't happen. However, farther north, we'll have to watch this area that's moving into southwestern Ottawa County. It just barely misses Delaware County. So we'll talk more about this, but let's put this into motion. Storms moving east, tremendous supercells earlier today. We'll take a look at those here in just a bit, but they do have that severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-size hail as well as 60 miles per hour winds. Now look at this. I didn't even see this and I didn't even notice this, but there's additional cells that are firing up. I'm going to see if they've got some lightning with them. And as of right now, look at this, some lightning showing up over Huntsville. Now this is something brand new. And this is something that the models didn't show at all. So here's what we got to do. Presets, we'll take this. We'll look at a south view. Let me see if I can see some lightning here. Stand by. I got to take a picture of something here real quick. There we go. Huntsville Middle School. So now we got some lightning popping up on the screen, and I think that's interesting because where is this coming from? Now, I don't think this forms into isolated supercells, but if it does, it's going to be something that we that we have to watch here pretty close. Let me pop on Huntsville's camera so we can see if there's any type of lightning activity. I bet you it'll be very sporadic, but maybe we'll kind of get a view. So this is what we're oh yeah, I got to go to max 1 here. There we go. Now you get to see that. So we got lightning activity on the reflectivity, and we're not talking about major development, but it is in its infant stages. And this is kind of interesting that this is popping up way out ahead of these storms. It shows that we do have more energy than what's expected. I'll keep watching to see if there's any type of lightning strikes. I haven't seen any yet. So going back to Mega Doppler and panning up to the northwest, this is a little more of a dangerous storm that has severe thunderstorm capability, 60 miles per hour winds, as well as looks like some smaller hail, just under a quarter size. Then we got another thunderstorm that's to the west, but this is all outflow. So as far as the severe weather threat is concerned for tonight, we're not looking at as much. So that's good, but it doesn't mean that we can't see some severe weather potential. So let's take you through this and take you through all the individual risks. And first of all, if you haven't seen, there is a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect. And this severe thunderstorm watch goes until 4 a.m. And again, some storms could be strong to severe. There you see that severe thunderstorm warning for Ottawa County. Does not include Delaware County. So no counties in our weather coverage area are getting clipped by that storm. Let me get my. Let's kind of dive through each of these risks, and we're going to take you through the next several days. And I can tell you, we've got a lot of energy on the way for sure. Oh, great. Looks like I just missed a nice cloud, intra-cloud lightning strike. So as soon as you pull off the camera, that's what happens. Let's see if we can catch one. It's like fishing, right? You cast the line out, and then all of a sudden you reel it back in, and that's when the big fish swims by. Some bright lights. Let's move that camera a little bit more. All right, so that's looking kind of in a south-southeasterly direction, but you can see the low-level shear is pretty strong. There we go. Got a nice little intra-cloud strike there. So yeah, we do have some thunderstorm development taking place. But here's the deal, folks. We've got a lot of severe weather potential as we go throughout the next several days. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you through all of this, and we're going to dive into my forecast if you didn't get to see it. So here's the future radar, and here's the timing of the storms. And so in terms of individual cities, everyone's going to see rain pretty much. We're going to go through the weekend as well. But there's a look at the line of storms. Now, the good news is when it runs from northeast to southwest like that, that storm activity as it moves in probably is not going to be tornadic. Now, what we will have to watch is for little surges in the line that run more north to south, kind of like what you're seeing in Ottawa County, moving into Newton County, Missouri. But anything along here, this is just a heavy rain and a noisy little bugger. And then you'll see, again, thunderstorms continuing 4 a.m., and then the storms just really slowly move through. So we're talking about a lot of storm activity. Then as we go throughout the day on Friday, we've got another severe weather risk. That goes in the river valley. So we'll focus on that. But look at these rain totals here. We could be getting a nice little downpour just tonight alone. So the models are showing about 2.5 inches, 2 3/4 inches in Ozark, and a little less in the river valley. Look at Poto. That doesn't seem realistic, but I guess it could be, because here's the thing that I'm concerned about. LaFleur County could really get rocked as we get into Friday evening. And then again Saturday evening too, and I'll show you that in just a bit. Here's the 2-day forecast timeline. Obviously, this is way too small to see for your eyes. It's too small for my eyes. So let's pull it out a little bit and we'll show you. Here's the forecast. Temperature is expected to be in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. Now, we do have those storm chances, but really for Northwest Arkansas, the rain chances are going to be dropping off. So if you've got plans in the morning into the afternoon, just know that the storms are going to be moving out. And here's a question. So just noisy tonight. We can go to bed. Let me run you through everything here in just a bit before you go on and say night night and hit the hay, because I think we'll be okay. I think it will be noisy. I think there will be thunderstorms, but as far as tornadic activity, I'm not sold on it at the moment. Here's a look at the rain chance to see what happens Saturday. Saturday, the rain starts popping back up again, and I'll show you the reason why. Here's a look at the 2-day forecast for the River Valley. See those storm chances lingering a little longer, and you'll see that when we look at this timing, and there's good reason for that. That frontal boundary is going to remain south in the River Valley tomorrow afternoon into the evening. So, again, we're going to be watching that severe weather potential lasting longer in the River Valley than it does in Northwest Arkansas. So this is the day 2 convective outlook. This has not been updated yet. Okay. However, I think that this will be updated to the day 1, and I think that there still will be that level 2 that will clip the River Valley. I don't think it's going to be any higher than that, at least at this point. But the storms that happened in Oklahoma were pretty gnarly, to say the least. So here's a look at what we've got for the rest of your Friday. Okay, so Rachel, Rogers High School prom looking A-okay, looking picture perfect. Here's why. Storms will be developing, but they are going to be farther south because here's the deal. The outflow boundary and the cold front pushes through, actually, believe it or not. So that's why that storm risk drops off for Northwest Arkansas, in my opinion. And you can see that right here. Look at that. It's beautiful weather. So you might be looking at Apple weather. You might be looking at something else and seeing storms possible Friday evening. Not around here and not on our timeline. I don't think that's possible. Now, the River Valley, we're a little more concerned about storms lingering a little longer. As you can see, that development does pop up. And also, you got to see this. The warm front just races northward. So if you know anything about severe weather, and around here, our big events come from a lifting warm front. And when a warm front lifts northward, you get basically any storms that ride the warm front are going to be bad news. Here's the deal. Look at what happens Saturday. This supercell that develops potentially out in central Oklahoma is going to ride that warm front, and watch what happens as the storm really starts to take off. I'm going to step through this pretty slow. Look at this supercell take over in the River Valley, and look at it riding the warm front. Now, this is Saturday late afternoon into the early evening. That's a pretty intense storm. So why are we so concerned about severe weather potential for Saturday night? That's because the storm chances will be increasing dramatically Saturday night, even for Northwest Arkansas. But look at that. That is a nasty supercell. And case in point, before we go any farther or further in the timeline, I've got to show you this. We're going to bring up the instability. I think this really tells the story. So you might see a different banner here because this is my Fox graphic. And voila, there you go. Different graphic. I can change that style guide, but there you go. You get to see the Fox banner. Watch what happens again. Instability tonight, still there. Storms still could be noisy and intense in terms of heavy rainfall, gusty winds. Damaging winds going to be the most likely threat. But as we get into our Saturday night, watch what happens. That front pushes south. The instability gradient kind of returns slightly. But watch what happens on Saturday. This is crazy. This warm front starts lifting northward. You can actually see it lifting northward. Now stop it, and we're going to pause it kind of right here. Look, you can actually see the warm front. So the warm front at this point for Saturday afternoon, because it pushes through to tomorrow, is going to be basically draped right here through the River Valley. And as that lifts northward, those storms will kind of ride the warm front, which will really cause some pretty impressive tornado potential. And just to show you this, we will look at what's called the maximum updraft helicity. This basically means the storm spin tracks, okay? And here's Jessica asking a question. So don't worry about tonight, just tomorrow for the River Valley. Well, here's the deal. You'll hear some very loud thunderstorms, a lot of lightning, and rumbles of thunder, and you'll see a lot of lightning. You'll hear rumbles of thunder and heavy rain and gusty winds, and so it will be a little noisy. But wait till you see what happens here as we get into our Saturday. So there's the storm spin tracks. Nothing super major, right? But watch what happens as we go into Saturday. You're going to see that supercell take over. Look at that. Those are some pretty impressive spin track, and it only goes out that far and it stops. We could tell as of this, now remember, this is just a model, but it shows how an isolated supercell will be possible for Saturday evening. But it gets a lot worse as more storms are going to be moving in, and we have multiple risks. And we'll get to that, and we'll show you a little bit later. Here's the significant tornado parameter. See that riding the warm front? Not really much for Northwest Arkansas. You see that? And then also tonight, it kind of bumps up a little bit, and that's why we cannot let our guard down. But I can tell you this, going back to Mega Doppler, you will see if we go over here to this computer. Well, camera, you didn't want to follow me, did you? Supercell Saturday. We're going to come over here to the Mega Doppler computer, and all this right here, this is all go to bed because that's all going to be outflow dominant. And unless the line can catch up with the shear, now I've got to actually increase these animation settings here. Stand by. It's too slow. I was doing that for the Fort Smith Van Buren tornado 30-year anniversary. But now you get to see this line moving in. There's the dangerous portion of the line, but you can also see how it's starting to weaken. So I really think tonight we're looking A-okay. Some rumbles of thunder off to our east. Yes, it will be noisy. Yes, there will be a lot of storms, but I don't anticipate to stay on as these storms continue to move through. Now, Josh Rugger will be here, and he'll be watching, and he'll see if anything looks pretty nasty. So going back to this, there is that limited tornado potential with any line that runs kind of more north to south instead of east to west. East to west is trash. That's just not going to do anything, really. Okay, so we went up to Saturday. Now, let's go through the upper level weather pattern. This is just unreal. It's just, imagine a fire hose that's just constantly spitting out disturbances and pieces of energy. That's what we've got. And this system that comes in is going to bring multiple waves of energy. You can actually see them too. So first of all, the one wave that came through tonight, it's located right here. That little short wave, kaboom, that's what exploded the thunderstorms over north central Oklahoma along the front. And because we continue with that southwest flow, that front isn't going to be pushing in anytime soon. There's the energy. And then look at all of these Baja blast disturbances off to the southwest moving in. Now, Saturday night, we're anticipating that storms aren't going to move in until overnight Saturday into Sunday, but I think there's too much energy there where there won't be an isolated supercell in eastern Oklahoma that could track and ride that warm front. Then as we go throughout our Monday, look at this, more energy swinging in, and then more energy swinging in from the southwest. And it doesn't stop there. I just stopped it because of the newscast. I only had limited time. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the rest of this. Look at this upper level support. Look at this constant energy moving in. There's Thursday, and all this has plenty of instability to work with. And then finally, by Friday of next week, that's a week's worth of thunderstorms and severe weather potential. We finally get a break in the action. Now, high resolution model data will be better as we get closer. But here is the best look at what we've got right now. So this is the European model, and you'll notice as we put this into motion, see it doesn't have that isolated supercell in eastern Oklahoma, so it's a lower resolution model. Then as we get into Sunday, we've got thunderstorms returning. Then Sunday afternoon, more thunderstorms popping up, and so I think Sunday is going to be our high ceiling trouble day. And I'll show you some of the model soundings here in just a bit, and we'll kind of dive into the analysis. Then on Monday, we've got more thunderstorms, and that risk is shifted west. You can actually see the cold front that's going to be associated with this. So we'll take that cold front, and essentially we'll draw it right here. To be honest with you, I'm actually going to draw a dry line here. That looks like a dry line, and the cold front is actually right here. So we're looking at a cold front dry line combination that's going to be moving in for Monday. And then finally, watch Monday night. Did you see that? It still develops another line of thunderstorms Monday evening and into Tuesday morning. And then I'm just going to go through the rest of it. Watch this. Tuesday, you got thunderstorms. Wednesday, you got thunderstorms. Thursday, you got thunderstorms. And finally, by Friday, the energy moves out. Now, let me just kind of show you this here. So we've got these thunderstorm chances because of the amount of instability. Check this out. Here's the instability. Notice how it clears out for Friday afternoon, evening, but Saturday starts roaring back in. Then on Sunday, watch what happens Sunday. Lot of fuel. That is a whole lot of instability. And a dry line bulge that's to the west. Then as we get into Monday, look at this. More unstable air. Look at the front too, pushing in. So we know thunderstorms are going to be more likely on Monday. Then Tuesday, the front pushes south, but look at what happens Tuesday afternoon. More instability returns. That's the fuel for thunderstorms. Wednesday, more storms. Thursday, more storms. It's just nonstop. Okay, yeah, great question. I know it is. That's a lot of CAPE. It's like 2 to 3,000 CAPE. Yes. Here's a question. Estimated rain totals for over the weekend. So we're talking not just the weekend, because the weekend won't be as much, because keep in mind the storm chances don't really develop until Saturday night and into Sunday. But over the next 7 days, we are looking at some pretty substantial totals. Let me bring this up here real quick and I'll show you. The question is if I can find it. My show is just a discombobulated mess. So here's what I'll do. I'll click on this. We'll add this. And as soon as it populates, I'll show you. I think we've got like 4 to 7 inches possible over the next 7 days. Now, keep in mind this changes and it adjusts and it alters. But here you're seeing the contour right here of 5 to 7. So you got 4 to 5 in here. This is 3 to 4. So, I mean, we're talking some widespread rain. We are going to be looking at Sunday setup. Just a second, Joel, okay? I just want to kind of go through and dive through all of this. Okay, let's go through, now that you saw the thunderstorm chances, the instability, all that stuff. No, next weekend, I think you're good. I think all these storms move out. Next weekend, keep those camping trips in act. Okay, I'm going to check this out. Yeah, that's a great idea. So here we go. We're going to go bring up Gaither Mountain. I think we got some lightning that's happening on our Gaither Mountain Weatherbug Network camera. So this is looking off to the northwest. Northwest. We got to flip this around. Southwest is the pole, unfortunately. But let's see if we can get some lightning on this activity. Taylor, I know you're confused, and I understand why, because there's just so much activity, honestly. It's just like it's nonstop storms over the next several days. And I'm just kind of giving you the overall picture. But the Rogers area said he could go to bed because it was outflow dominant. Yes, it does appear it's going to be outflow dominant. Will it be gusty? Yes. Will it be rainy? Yes. Will it be noisy? Yes. Will it be tornadoes? No, not if it's outflow dominant. There's no way that you can get tornadoes as the outflow races out way ahead of the storm. So going back to your question, Taylor, I think the Rogers area is going to be okay to go to bed. And in fact, I'm going to be doing the same as well, because look, here's the line of storms. And then here's that green outflow. In fact, if I bring this up on spectrum width, you can clearly see as I run the cursor over this, this is where your boundary is. And if you look at base velocity, you can actually see that's where the boundary is. And then you look here and the reflectivity is to the northwest of that, the cells. So this is all, and you can see that outflow that's surging south. Where it's not surging south is, see, you got to watch this though. See this area right here that's running north to south? That could be a little more intense. However, this is some rain cooled air, but sometimes, and this is important to know, is that sometimes you can have what's called an inflection point where those two boundaries intersect and they meet right at the balanced region of the QLCS. So check this out right here. Right here, you got an outflow area, you got another outflow area, and some of that could be balanced right here north of Collinsville. And notice how that's making its way eastward. So, yes, there might be outflow dominant, but it can always kind of translate and morph into a different area. But here's the beautiful thing. Go to bed, and if you have weather call next gen, it'll call you if you're going to have some storms in the area. So, okay, let's see here. We're going to go back to let's go to Posey Mountain here. Posey Mountain will have a view of that. Let's see how much lightning. See, the lightning is not nearly as much as those supercells out in Oklahoma. Okay, so just doesn't want to happen. Here's what I'm going to do real quick. So we don't miss a lightning strike. I'm going to bring this up full. I think we just got one. Stand by here. See if that should have lightning with it. Unless I just missed it. If it wants to be a little stinker, then this is what we'll do. We'll bring up Mega Doppler. At the same time, we'll bring up Weather 3. And then you're never going to miss that lightning strike. There we go. And we'll pull the camera off of there for the time being. Too many windows. All right, so there is Posey Mountain's WeatherBug Network camera. You got those cells that are happening, not severe, not even close to severe. That's weird. I'm seeing lightning, but I don't see it on the stream. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, the tornado that hit Enid was bad. Huh. It's kind of strange. Weather call next gen. You got it. It's awesome. I'll post some information about that here in just a bit. Okay, in the meantime, while we're still on Max 1, there we go. We finally got a lightning strike. Haha. Here's what I can do. Just going to add this to the stage. We're going to bring that up. That's our Madison WeatherBug Network camera that we've got. So we got occasional lightning. Yeah, you have lightning flashes looking east from Eureka. That's right. Okay, so let's go back here. Noisy, not severe along the line, but we'll have to watch out for this area. But that's also looking outflow dominant. Will it intersect with the line? We'll see. Probably not. Future radar shows those storms continuing to crank up, but we don't really have as much severe weather conditions until we get into really Saturday night and Sunday, and tomorrow afternoon in the River Valley. So, all right, let's go back to the risks now. We want to talk about these individual risks because we've got a lot of stuff cooking here. So first of all, and these are obviously all going to change, but this is the severe weather risk for the day 3 convective outlook. First of all, many severe storms are going to be possible. Timing for this is mainly Saturday night. Okay, like we said, Saturday night, Saturday evening. Damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. And the confidence is increasing because you can see that level 3 And here's what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm going to take all the numbers off everything, and you can see that enhanced risk does make its way into Northwest Arkansas. This is Sunday's severe weather risk. Notice that we are under that significant conditional intensity group, SIG 1, for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, and we're even in the 30% area for that significant severe weather potential. Tomorrow doesn't have the significant severe weather potential. We'll run through that risk in just a bit. But now, as we go into our Monday early morning, look, more storms possible, including many severe. Then you can see we have some severe too over the entire weather coverage area. This is Sunday evening into Monday morning, and high resolution models don't basically handle everything that's happening well, but we know upper level support is here and going to be here for a long time. And then finally, another risk for Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. Now it's really Monday into Tuesday, but now since it's past midnight and the risks haven't updated, now the date has changed. So whenever we go past midnight, it messes up everything in terms of the future track. So the rain chances are going to be very likely, and this is good news because, hey, we still have considerable and even exceptional drought over north, central, and northeast Arkansas. But look at what happened for us. We used to be under a D2 drought. Now we're under a D1 moderate drought. And if we look at the comparison between last week and this week, you will see that there's that D1 from last week, April 17th, and April 24th now showing up 2026. So let's do this. Let's add that stage to this is our Posey Mountain WeatherBug Network camera. And definitely some lightning that's occurring with those cells. Thankfully, though, not severe. Microtops not very tall, but enough where we're getting some ice collisions. So severe thunderstorm watch officially goes until 4 o'clock in the morning. However, not sold that it lasts that long, to be honest with you. Well, Wyatt, we just showed you, but you must have just missed it. So the severe weather risk for Sunday is looking pretty stout. And we'll go through some of the ingredients and stuff like that. But this is the severe weather risk for Saturday night and into Sunday morning, even though it shows Sunday morning into Monday morning, because now we're past midnight and those things automatically change. But that is a level 3. And so this is essentially for Sunday. So we're talking Saturday morning through Sunday morning. And it is off to the west, but it does clip our area. And especially after midnight, that's the most likely time for storms there. And there you can get to see that hatched area for severe weather potential. The problem is that high resolution model data doesn't go out far enough. So we're not going to get a great view of storm activity. Now we can look at, let's do this. Let's look at the graph for tonight. Okay, this is your timing for storms tonight. So it's doing a pretty good job. We're at midnight. Storms are to the northwest, and you can see how they're moving in later on tonight. So about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice how there's a little bit of an inflection point that occurs right there, and then it moves east, and then it's kind of cold outflow and more storms. But notice how the rain kind of moves out by about 7 o'clock in the morning. And then the storms kind of continue to crank up in the river valley, as you can see popping up during the afternoon with temperatures. They could be a lot colder, and the storm risk might shift a lot farther south. Okay, so that is the 3-kilometer graph that updates every hour, but only goes 18 hours out. Here is the longer graph. It'll go out farther. Let's see what it does here, or further. There's the thunderstorms that pop up in the river valley. I think that's very likely. Let me bring this up full so you can see. So here you got those thunderstorms popping up. And look, it even tries to develop some storms in northwest Arkansas. Now let's see what it does Saturday. So look, Saturday, I can't stress this enough. I think most of the day Saturday, and I'm talking the red-white game, the scrimmage, all that stuff, no problems. Storms are going to be limited for our area. But look at what happens to the northwest. See, that does ride that warm front. Look at that. That's a lot farther north than the HRRR, but that is a supercell thunderstorm. That Posey Mountain internet connection is slow, man. Slow, slow, slow as molasses. Look at that, though. Wow, that is incredible. Big time storm coming through. If that really does come to fruition, and I do think that is a possibility Saturday night. So Saturday could be a rough day. Let's see what happens on Sunday. Notice Sunday's pretty quiet until Sunday night when the next round of storms moves in. Let's look at the GFS and then let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer. And remember, this is the best we can do at this point. These are basically composite reflectivity future track models. And there's Friday. See how lower resolution it is? Look, here's Saturday night. It's got that thunderstorm and supercell out west. And then look, it's got thunderstorms on Sunday. And then it's got more storms on Sunday into Monday. And I bet you the GFS will probably take everything east. No, it doesn't. It takes it out by Tuesday early morning, though. That makes sense. And then look, it brings more storms into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then even into Friday and Saturday before the system finally slows down. So, all right. So let's break this all down for you. And I think the best way to do this is to show you our 7-day forecast because, let's face it, man, there's like 5 consecutive severe weather risks that are over our area. The first one, that happens in the morning, basically, tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. For Northwest Arkansas, probably not going to be as much. Then you can see Saturday night. Look at what we have here. Thunderstorms coming in before midnight, most likely even after sundown. Then we got many severe with that enhanced risk. Then Sunday, we got thunderstorms possible during the afternoon and evening. And then overnight Sunday into Monday, more storms. Then the risk will kind of shift east probably by early afternoon on Monday. And then as we get into Tuesday, we've got more storms. And then look, the rest of the 7-day storms just keep going. We won't stop with the storm activity. Look at how the temperature drops, though, and that's going to be the end of our severe weather risk on Thursday. So Wednesday night and Thursday morning going to be another potential for severe weather. Then as you'll see here, Friday, we've got some severe. Friday night into Saturday morning, we've got quiet weather. Saturday evening into Sunday morning, storm chances. Notice how the storms could linger a little longer on Friday. So, man, yeah, that's going to be busy. I'll get you another look at that 7-day. Now we should be starting to see some lightning from our Gravit WeatherBug Network camera looking off to the northwest. We're getting closer to those lightning strikes. Flying out of X&A evening, Sunday evening out of X&A. Yeah, well, it might be quiet Sunday evening until Sunday night. It just all depends. I'm tired of it too, believe me. And I'm tired of trying to figure out hours for the meteorologists and not having overtime and not having everybody work so late. And yeah, it's pretty tiring, all right. No doubt about that. So here's what we want to do now. Real quick, give you the timing of the next 2 days. This is what we've got for storm chances. Still can't see any lightning off the distance. That means that cold outflow is kind of choking off the thunderstorms. So here's a look at the risk, not the risk, but the thunderstorm chances. So they go up to 90%. Then you got 40%. Then you go back down late morning, and really the rain moves out by early evening. So prom, no problems, no issues. Saturday, thunderstorms coming back Saturday night, and then especially Sunday. This is only the 2-day forecast timeline. River Valley forecast, watch the storms stick around a little bit too longer. And there you get to see 40%. All right, let's see, grab it. As soon as we pop off of it, it's going to, oh, there you go. Got to see some lightning off in the distance. This Posey Mountain camera, though, let's see if we can catch something. That lightning has definitely decreased, though. So it shows that these storms are kind of capped. Look at this. What's this? Isolated supercells trying to pop up near Okima. It's an isolated cell. It might not be a supercell. It's not a supercell yet. Anything that has developed like this has been choked off, but you're going to see here. Whoops, stand by. There we go. Go back to Mega Doppler here real quick. There you get to see these thunderstorms that are popping up. So peak winds with this line, this is an update here, is 38 miles per hour in Miami, 50 gusts in Talala. Precipitation cores appear to be melting hail, but the precip looks very heavy and is loading and helping the wind get to the ground. So we got some gusty winds. There's that isolated cell. And look, we're starting to see some development ahead of the gust front along the outflow boundary, along the gust front. So that tells you that you got some isolated storms, and probably that severe thunderstorm warning will not be extended. Look at this hail core, though. That's a bigger hail core. So we still have potential to get a little larger. Look at that. Ulaga. That's a little bit of a larger hail core. And then that, let's see how that's moving. Moving kind of east-northeast. So yeah, that's a little bit of a stronger cell. Nothing really moving in for us yet, and that's expected. It's 12:14. We didn't expect anything till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning anyways. So strong winds, gusty winds, but tornado threat is limited. I wouldn't say zero, but it's limited. If we go to the individual threats, just to show you where we kind of have to watch just a little bit, is Northwest Benton County. So there you can see it right there, kind of clipping Northwest Benton County, as well as Southwest Missouri. That's right along the leading edge, but anything that has that outflow ahead of it is just going to be noisy, maybe gusty winds, perhaps a severe thunderstorm warning, but that's about it. Okay, now let's dive in here. Let's take a look at some models, some model soundings, and we'll check out exactly what we have going on with the parameter space, the environment. And so I'm just going to kind of do this on the fly, which means I won't be able to see as many comments at the time. So let's go into, first of all, in order to see what's going on with the long range, we've got to go out a little bit farther. The NAM right now goes out to Monday, so it would go out throughout all day Sunday. So let's see what we've got all day Sunday for the South Central United States, including the Southern Plains. So stand by. I'm going to share this screen. It's called Pivotal Weather. A lot of people look at Pivotal Weather. It has been windy, no doubt. It's been a windy day. So let's go into some severe weather parameters, and we'll look at some sounding. So first of all, let's just look at, we know the instability is going to be there. Let's look at the 0 to 1 kilometer storm relativisticity. So this is the 0Z sounding, or 0Z model run. And let me just make sure that I've got exactly that up. Yep. And we've got a camera up too from Posey just to catch some additional lightning strikes. All right. So let's look and see what happens as we go into, man. Here we go. We're going to kind of step through this with the keys. So here's Saturday morning. Notice how the frontal boundary pushes through. You can literally see that front moving in. But then here comes that return in low level helicity, and that cranks up for Sunday evening. And so I do think the River Valley is going to need to watch very, very closely Saturday night. And then look, that lifts northward, and that continues to lift northward. And look, that is a lifting warm front, folks. That is not good. We can look at the surface and look at the surface temperature and the wind barbs, and you will see a clearly defined warm front. Gosh darn it. Stop doing that. There's Saturday, and watch what happens on. Look at that. Oh, man. Look at the backed surface winds, too. This, you can see where the warm front is. Look at this. You've got 65, but then you've got 75, 79, 80 degrees. Look at the easterly winds. You got southerly winds. If I crank on this right here, load up a sounding, we are going to see tornado potential. Oh, that is a very impressive sounding. And if we look at this is just a click point sounding, and this is for the River Valley. And you'll see here, this is what we call a critical angle of about 90 degrees, almost a perfect straight line hodograph in the lowest levels, a lot of curvature. And then you can see right here, the storm motion is going to be more easterly. So these storms are going to be moving east, east, southeast. The lifted condensation level and the level of free convection are basically right next to each other. 0 to 3 kilometer cape is 143. This is an impressive sounding thermodynamically. Supercell composite of 23. Significant tornado parameter is 5.5. That is with the convective inhibition layer. And then you've got significant tornado parameter fixed is 4.1. So you've got all those ingredients that are coming together for some pretty impressive thermodynamics. That looks trouble. The only thing that might be our saving grace right here, but even that isn't capped. The sin is very limited. Look at the amount of surface-based cape. That is 5,000, folks. That's mostly unstable, obviously. No, that's 5,000. 5,000 cape. Wow. Okay, going back to the model. Got to close that out. I hope you were seeing that. I think you were. Let's go forward a little bit and let's see if that warm front makes it into northwest Arkansas on Sunday afternoon. There's Sunday evening. Look, we're 71. So if I click on this, let's see what Washington County. Look at that. That's got, now granted, that critical angle is a little less or a little more than 90 degrees, but this has a very impressive supercell environment. Look at the significant hail. Look at the supercell analogs. Look at the supercell composite. Again, this is, like we mentioned, in Washington County, Sunday evening. The parameter space is off the charts, folks. We know we're going to be busy. Look at the PDS tour, particularly dangerous situation tornado on the NAM. That's at 10 o'clock at night. Significant tornado parameter. This is Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Look at all the hail algorithms. In fact, I gotta zoom in on that because I can't tell if that says 6. It does. Are you kidding me? One of the analogs has 6-inch hail in Dodge City. on May 22nd, 1995. Now, that doesn't mean that we will get that type of hail, but it does show the environment is very conducive not only to strong tornadoes, but we're talking about significant hail. This is why we're doing this stream right now, because Sunday could be big time trouble, folks. But you got to have a storm. You know, I got to mention that. You can have all these parameters, you can have all these ingredients in place, and you don't have a storm, you don't get anything. Let's take a look at the European. Let's go back to 18Z. Let's go forward. Let's look at some things here on Sunday. So it's got that warm front. They all have the warm front lifting northward. We all have back surface winds. We look at some of the parameters here. Let's look at, mixed layer cape in the photographs. We already know what they're going to look like. They're going to look very impressive. And again, I can't see your comments right now, but I'll get to them here in just a bit. Let's go back a little bit. Jump forward a little bit too much. Click on that. Here's the European, a little less resolution. And look, it also has PDS Tor. The European has PDS Tor. Now, that critical angle is a little more than 90 degrees, but it's pretty darn close. Easterly storm motions. Yeah. Okay, one more model. Let's keep going here. Let's look at the GFS. The GFS also, look at that. It also has that lifting northward. Okay, let's go here. Let's look. GFS Tor. Maybe not PDS Tor. It's got this little cape robber right here. You can see how that nudges over to the right a little bit. The shear isn't quite as impressive, but then again, I'm not as late. Let me go a little later. Let me go to 3Z, 10 o'clock. And there you go, Tor. It's got that cooler boundary, but the shear is impressive. The upper level flow is a little weaker. But, you know, now the question is, do the storms convect? Do the models show convection? Let's look. So there's Sunday, and look, the parameter space is there, but they aren't showing any storms. Do I believe that? Not in the least. No, I don't, because you saw what happened today. Well, the models didn't have any storms today either, a lot of them, from a couple days ago. Now, granted, they've got them now. Let's look at the HRW. Yeah, there's Saturday night. Now, Saturday night starts bringing in storms, so now we've got to include that into the mix. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic about, wow, look at that. That's rough. Saturday night into Sunday. So not only do we have Saturday or Sunday to worry about, but also Saturday as well. They canceled all the severe thunderstorm warnings. They might be issuing another one for Delaware County, though. I'm watching this cell that's by Langley. Okay, I'm finally starting to see some comments now. But let's look at the NSSL here real quick and see what it's got. So not a whole lot of. Come on. What do you mean not responding? Hold on just a sec. Locked up here. There's Saturday. It's got those supercells out west. Look at that, starts to develop Saturday night. Saturday night. How about the RRFS? It usually chooses violence. Excuse me. Here's a look at Saturday evening. Here comes that supercell. Golly. Yeah, that's trouble, folks. Saturday night, and then watch this, it reloads for Sunday, but no, it doesn't. Parameter space is there. Either way, I don't care what the models show. We know that the parameter space is probably going to be there. We know that we're probably going to see severe weather potential, and we know that we've got to watch these cells really, really closely. Okay, going back to this. Wow, that actually was more than what I thought on the soundings, and I haven't seen the European, especially for our area, in a long time show a PDS, which stands for particularly dangerous situation environment, meaning the environment is favorable for strong tornadoes. But you have to have a storm. Yeah. So basically, we are cooked. Twister. I know Twister is a good movie. So this is a biggest tornado today in Enid. Wasn't even in the 10% highest risk area. I know, but it was within that hatched area for a conditional. The reason that it wasn't, Joel, is because it was questionable if a storm would even develop there. Because a lot of the models didn't convect along the dry line. Some of them convected in south central Oklahoma, but that didn't happen. But it did, and then it fell apart. Okay, back to the radar after looking at all that. And you're probably like, oh my gosh, what are we getting tonight? Yes, there is a little small hail that's going to be coming into Cleora and Bernice, Ketchum, and Xena. And if we look here, the hail's very small, though. I mean, we're talking less than quarter size, so not severe, but that is coming into Delaware County, which is why they have a special weather statement on it, but not necessarily a severe thunderstorm warning, nor do I expect them to, unless it increases a little bit more in intensity. Either way, though, it's going to be a noisy night. There's going to be a lot of storms, and it's going to be raining pretty heavily, too. This is rain that we absolutely need. Glenn Powell was fantastic, especially when he had his shirt on. No, 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 no. Nothing against Glenn Powell. He's a good actor. He was great in Top Gun Maverick. He was like such a great hated person, you know. Like, but then he ended up being pretty cool at the end. But he played that part perfect. Um, yeah. So, anyways, I think I'm about to shut this down because I know I've got a lot of I know I got a lot of work ahead of me. And honestly, before I let you go tonight, this is the time right now to sign up for Weather Call Next Gen. You may not get a call tonight. And to be honest with you, you probably won't. But now is the time to start preparing. Now that you are informed of weather potential, of bad severe weather. So let me break this down for you how this works. This is something that's really a great source. It's a service. And what it will do is it will call you only if you're in the path of a warning. I'm looking at some lightning here on some of these cells. So this is a Weather Call Next Gen. How does this work? Well, what it does is it's based off of the polygon. So when you sign up, you put in your address. Your address gets down to the actual building where you live. Then when you do is you select what kind of alerts you want. Now it's always going to call you for tornado warnings. It'll always call you again if a tornado is confirmed on the ground after a warning is issued. It'll also call you, if you choose to, for hurricane force winds with thunderstorms that have over 74 miles per hour winds. So we're talking over 70 miles per hour winds. It also will call landline phones. You know, I was at Sassafras earlier last night, since it's the new morning, and I didn't have much service to watch the streams. So that was in just east of Fayetteville. So basically, you're down in a valley or in your rural area, this will call landline phones. Now, just to let you know, there is a $12 per year service fee. Why is it not free? There are call servers that need to call out to thousands of phone numbers in a matter of seconds. And the only way it can do this is if you keep up with the with the phone servers. And of course, that takes money. But and it's a business, but it's a business that's a great business that have saved a lot of lives. And if you scan that QR code or you go to that website, weather call services / KNWA next gen, I promise you will not be disappointed. Let's say I say go to bed. So you go to bed. Next thing you know, you got a storm that's surging in and it's got a outflow boundary that's kind of catching up with the line. The line surges, you got a line intersection. All of that can combine for tornado potential unexpectedly, and you get a tornado warning even though you went to bed. If you're in the path of the warning, you'll get a call. That means only if you're within the polygon. So imagine, for instance, you live in Joplin, and let's say you're in Reeds, okay, not Joplin, but you're in the county of Joplin, and you live in Reeds. Well, you still got a little ways before you might be affected by the storm, so it didn't call you because you're not within this area, which is called the storm-based polygon. So this is the area that's affected by the storm. Let's say you live in Alba. Alba is getting a storm, but it's not necessarily severe. And so the most dangerous portion of the storm is south of Carthage and Fidelity and Diamond and east of Joplin, and you wouldn't get a call. It's so precise that sometimes people literally on the different block across the street from you might be out of the polygon. And so that's kind of how that works. So let's go back to Weather Call Next Gen, and there's that QR code. Now, another thing too is here's the thing. This is a great question. It does not track you. This is important because tracking on your cell phone runs down your battery like mad. Not even the Weather Channel tracks you. It will ping your location several times, but that will drain your battery. What this does, though, is it knows your location where you live, and it's not an app, it's a service. So is it different than an app? Apps are constantly pinging your cell phone location, but it kills your battery life, and it might update every, maybe, every hour or two. You don't know. You can't control how many times it pings. But this is site specific. Now, let's say you're traveling and you go to Florida and there's a chance of severe weather. You can do the Find Me feature where it will locate your location. It'll switch to that, and then that will stick around for the next 5 days or until you change it back to your home address. But that will be when you're like traveling. But if you're on the road and you're driving, you literally can't have this following you because it's going to kill your battery life. And on top of that, cell towers aren't exactly perfect on where they ping and where the warnings are. So that's how it can be so precise, and that's how that works. So it's great. Screenshot, and what I'll do here is I will give you. I have my whole family on it. I have a lot of the coworkers on it. It's just it takes the guesswork out of wondering if you're in the path of the warning or not. That's the beauty of it. There's so many times, do I need to take cover? You don't have to worry. You can go to bed and make sure you have your phone on ring. It will call you if you're in the path of a storm. Now, you don't have to have it call you for severe thunderstorm warnings. You can choose to avoid that. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this. Now, do you guys have any questions at all about it? Yeah, don't forget to have your phone volumes up. That's true. I posted the link in the comments below so you can see it going to everybody. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut this down. We're going to let this storm get a little closer. Josh Rugger will be in here shortly. I don't think you got anything to worry about. I think we're just going to have some noisy storms. I think we're going to have some rumbles of thunder, some heavy downpours. Really, honestly, good sleeping weather unless you have kids or pets that are afraid of storms. We'll have to watch this line right here. It's a little bit closer to the outflow boundary, but as of now, nothing super serious. It is more outflow dominant, but that is one part of the storm that we will have to watch a little bit closer. right in here by Collinsville. But will that continue to remain the case as it moves east? We'll see. That is a little bit of a stronger cell, but boy, yeah, you can see when it makes its way east, it really dies, just like the other one that's over here. So, and yes, you could do a test call as well, and then save that number. Yep, it's a 806 479 9906. I think is the stuff. By the way, shout out to Chuck Scott. Check this out. I got to show you my new lightning tie here. So there it is. I got a new lightning tie that has been replenished. Continue to have more lightning ties. I also have a member of my church. She gave me a lightning tie as well that I think is really cool. And I love that you're watching that cell on radar scope. We got so many well-educated people that love the weather and know a lot about it for sure. Last thing I want to do is to just real quick take you through. Well, severe weather risks they're not old, but basically they're not valid anymore, if that makes sense. Because it'll show the next day and it's really not the next day because it's after midnight. Okay, so first of all, day one risk. Don't pay attention to the time. This is just through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, or this morning, should I say. Notice how we're still under the marginal threat. Storms will definitely be on a weakening trend, but maybe not entirely. Tornado threat is mainly northwest. The hail threat is mainly northwest. The wind threat, though, could be a little more over our area. Okay, the day two risk, that gets a little nastier. The day two tor is farther west. The day two hail. This is actually updated here, I think. Yeah, this has. This is an update. So we already have an update to the day two convective outlook. How about that? So this is it's so confusing. Like, what is it? This is Saturday morning into Sunday morning. There's that. Yeah, that makes sense because remember you were seeing that warm front and some of the supercells that we're tracking. And then what's weird is the tornado threat is way west, like there. It doesn't. I don't know if I agree with that, or I don't know if it's totally populated yet. And then the day three outlook, we've seen that. Yeah, so that is an update to the risk. And then there's the day three probability. Let me see something real quick. It's confusing. No, that is the update to the tornado, to the day two, but I don't see it updated on here yet. That's interesting. I used to have my go-to site kamala.cod.edu, but since they changed the outlooks, they don't update as fast anymore. No, they did. They updated the day at 12:34. They updated the day two before they updated the day one. That's interesting. So this is the update. I'm going to read this off to you here. Matter of fact, I'll just share it so you can see it, and we'll kind of go through it together. So let's bring this up here. Meantime, we're trying to catch some lightning on our cameras too. But this is the risk here. So 12:34 Friday morning, there is an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms, 1 or 2 clusters. Downstream and initially amplify, becoming increasingly suppressed blocking ridge. Models indicate the center of a deep mid-layer low now forming over Saskatchewan and responses. This is just a lot of stuff. Another significant shortwave impulse is forecast to accelerate out of the southern mid-latitude eastern Pacific inland of the Pacific coast, and those are all the pieces of energy. Unseasonably moist, so moderate to strong instability, mid-level lapse rates. South of the lower Mississippi, along south of the defensively enhanced surface front, but a dry line is forecasted by Wichita. So this is where our area is. Model disparity concerning the evolution of surface boundaries and boundary layer moisture, stronger mid-level ridging and capping. At some point, it appears at large scale forcing ascent aided by lower mid-tropospheric warming, eventually increasing thunderstorm development. Latest convection allowing guidance, which is what we call CAMs, suggests high probabilities may be well to the north and east of the dry line, parts of north central Oklahoma by mid to late afternoon. Even if a surface-based inflow begins to emanate, modest to weak low-level photographs probably will limit tornadic potential. However, increasing and consolidating convective development could gradually organize and become capable of strong to severe wind gusts. So they're not saying as much tornado potential, but this is for basically Saturday morning through Sunday morning. But I saw some isolated supercells that looked a little nasty. We shall see. Large hail, though, going to be a possibility along with damaging winds. So, yeah, we got it all on the table. All right, guys, I think that does it for me. One last look at the radar. If anything threatens, Josh will be in here and he'll keep you up to date on everything. You got to watch this right here. This cell west of Owasso, north of Tulsa. That's outflow dominant too. So all that, yeah, you could actually see the outflow racing southeast right there. So that's choking that off, and that's choking that off on top of that. And this is just thunderstorms. And the lightning is actually on the decrease too. So those storms are starting to weaken for sure. Yeah, we could get a thunderstorm warning, like I said. All right, here's what I'm going to do. For the next few minutes, I'm going to look at some computer model. I'm going to look at some, where is the link? I sent the link. Let's see here. Facebook, yes, you can sign up, test call, lightning. Thank you for that. Sweet tie, appreciate it. I used Chase down and oh, thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate that. This is the comment. I popped that up really fast. My go-to during storms. Thank you so much, Julie. We'll keep you updated. The outlooks, they update all over the place. So the day one will update at 1 a.m. typically around that time, which will be the newest update here for Friday. Then you've got 8 a.m. This is all daylight saving time, by the way. 11:30 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. That's the day one. The day two updates at 2 a.m. and then again at 12:30 p.m. And sometimes they'll update it again during the afternoon. Then you got the day three outlook that updates at 3 a.m. and then again at 17:30 Z, which is essentially during the early afternoon. Okay, let's do this here. So yeah, that's the question on how often it updates. Lightning strikes, but thunder claps. That's good. That's a good question, Julianne. I just saw this comment, and this was just a minute ago, so you're not too far along ago. Um, so storms are splitting when you have what are called straight line hodographs, and what we mean by that is the winds are kind of going in one direction, and you got your two updrafts that are forming, and then a downdraft in the middle will cause that storm to kind of split apart. And so you get two updrafts. Now, what's interesting is you will have one updraft that is rotating anticyclonically, which is basically clockwise. And then you got another supercell, which is usually the right mover, that's rotating cyclonically, which is counterclockwise. So you got those two cells that are splitting, and one that's called the left mover, when it splits, will have a very good hail potential. In fact, left movers produce some of the largest hail. With folks doing outdoor activities, is to observe when thunder roars, head indoors. So, how far in front of a storm can lightning hit? Believe it or not, Dance Stuff Diva, it can be miles. We could have 10 to 12 miles out ahead of a storm. And if you're counting in between lightning and thunder, 10 miles is 50 seconds because every 5 seconds that you count is a mile in between lightning and thunder. The best radar app that I recommend. I'm a radar scope guy, but I know there's people with Radar Omega. Radar Omega is great. I know there's a whole weather-wise, movement. Weather-wise, it's good. I'm a radar scope fan, though. Utter disaster. That's funny. With the cow, I know. I got you. That's a good question. I would just be watching the weather. I mean, 11 a.m., I think you're safe. 8 p.m. is going to be getting close to that time. Now, how about this? Josh is on. Josh Rugger is on the stream. There was a strike today that a powerful supercell. Josh, I don't know how long you've been on, but did you see the parameter space that we have for Saturday night and Sunday with that warm front lifting northward? David, you're right. Our weather app is not bad with the radar. I like it. And there's different stuff that you can do too. You're going to have to make sure you have a backup plan to head to shelter if needed on Sunday evening. Sunday, our parameter space is absolutely off the charts. I don't think we're going to have tornadoes tonight. Oops. Dorothy, I got you. Now we just need Peyton and Zach to join tonight. I know. So Josh, just let you know, PDS tornado hazard, PDS tornado hazard for both the NAM, for the European. The GFS didn't have it, but many other models did. I mean, we're talking, we're talking effective storm relativisticity. I mean, we're in the EHI levels with EF4 plus potential. So, but it all depends. Do we have a storm? Drinking a gallon of Baja Blast, man. No, I know I'm going to be busy tomorrow, obviously too. So, did you know they updated the day 2 risk, Josh? It's a weird one though. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the lack of tornado potential, especially with. Well, this is Friday. I do have to remember that. No, this is not Friday. This is Saturday morning into Sunday morning. Look. So, John, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, they got the enhanced, obviously, and it does clip our area. And then you look at the hail, and the hail threat is definitely there. The wind threat is there, but then you look at the tornado, and and it's way off to the west. It just doesn't really match, especially if we have some isolated supercells. And just to show you, that's exactly what the HRRR is breaking out here. You'll see this in just a second. So this is Saturday evening. Look at this little isolated sup right there. And just to let you know too, that is not. Oh, look at this. You'll love this on the 4-kilometer graph. Watch this. Saturday night. Here it comes. No, I understand. Radar Scope Pro, it does have some good features, but I know they always try to get you with something else. That's Saturday night. Yeah, you'll have plenty to talk about, Josh, in your forecast. I know. And while you're on here, might as well share this tab instead. Take a look at so here we go. First of all, look at the RRFS, man, for Saturday. And then we'll go back here and we'll look at a point sounding. That looks kind of garbage. I will agree with that. That doesn't look good at all. But let me show you what does look good. So Sunday evening. And look, models don't convect, which is stupid. But if you look at the parameter space, check this out. There it is. Look at the analog, Josh. You ready for this? I'm going to zoom in here. Look at the analog. 6? Tornado is not as great because there is definitely not the best surface profile. And honestly, that's not the parcel process curve. But there's the effective significant tornado parameter. Look at that. 8.5. And you look, and that, as we go back, that's right over us. But it doesn't show a storm. So no storm. Okay, a new update just came out on the day one. Let's look at it. And then I'm going to shut this down. All right. So new day one just came out. Yeah, we're just going to see thunderstorms. Well, this makes sense too. They shifted the risk even farther south. All right, so this is the new day one convective outlook. Times are correct, Friday morning through Saturday morning. There's a look at the marginal risk that barely clips northwest Arkansas. We look at the tornado potential, and it's a lot greater farther south. Now, look at that. They got a hatched area in the river valley. That makes perfect sense along the boundary. You've got a 5%, which I agree with. The hail potential probably will extend a little farther north. It does. The wind threat will be a little bit farther north and not hatched, but that makes perfect sense. That really does. So there you go. That is the new risk. Yeah, I know. We already looked at the day two. Patrick, I want you to look at the day two and see what's kind of out of place here, personally. You got this. Look at where the tornado potential is. It just doesn't, I don't know. Something's weird on that. And I don't understand that. I mean, at least put a 2% over there. Yeah, the day one's a better outlook than the day two. You know, that is a good question, Lauren. Really, nothing performs the best. It's always kind of off, but you know, the HRRR has been pretty good lately. I'll be honest, and the graph actually had some pretty good luck last week predicting storms. But you know, storms are coming. There's just no doubt about that. In fact, lightning is getting closer and closer. Let's look here at our Gravit Hotel Weatherbug Network camera. Should have some lightning on there now. I bet you we don't have to wait long to see a flash. There you go. You know, it depends because remember, moderate means that you have to have enough storms to qualify for that moderate, meaning there has to be widespread severe weather. And if you have a conditional outlook where you only have a lower end coverage, that might not be a moderate. I did say we're mostly in the clear, Savannah, for tornado potential. You can even see the base of that storm is way, way higher. Huh. Patrick, it just started, man. Just wait until the end of this next 7 days, and then and then you might be saying otherwise. And we're only in April. We're not even in May yet. Did I say the Gravit Hotel? Yeah, my bad. I'm tired. Yeah, the College of DuPage does an update now with the newer risks. It's not good. Yeah, the graduate, not the graduate. I said the Gravit High School. Yeah, elevated basis for sure. You can see that. All right, guys, that is it for me. I'm going to call it a day. Josh Rugger will be in shortly. He'll have the latest on the news starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, unless storms threaten a little earlier. Then he'll hop on here and he'll let you know. But I really do think we're okay as we look at these storms kind of moving in and very weak. Now, what's this little guy trying to do down here? Huh. That I don't like to see. A little isolated cell way out ahead of everything. What is this doing? Where is this coming from? Great. That's way out ahead of everything. And that's got a lot of lightning with it. All right. Well, I guess I can't go yet. Let's look at this thing. Let's see what we got first of all. Let's look at the infrared and see if this sucker is starting to get pretty cold cloud tops. Man, you can really see the anvils from these suckers blowing up. This is crazy. Look at this energy, man. This will really show you some cold cloud tops. Look at that. Massive thunderstorms. Wow. I'm gonna teach you something cool real fast. Have you ever heard of what's called an enhanced V? So an enhanced V is something really cool. I'm gonna show you how this works. This is pretty neat. But I'm gonna go back here in time. And Davion, I taught you this if you're still on here. Josh, I know you know about this, but this is kind of cool. So first of all, these are some massive thunderstorms. And in fact, as it was tornadoing, you're going to see a really impressive enhanced V. But I got to zoom in order to see it. So let's see, first of all. Oh boy, it's messing up here. I don't know if we're on the mesosector 1. I imagine we are. So let's see if it loads up here. Yep, we are. Perfect. Okay. So this updates every minute. So we'll let this run here real quick. But how can you tell when thunderstorms are really high up and they're very intense? So there's something that develops, it's a satellite signature, and it's called an enhanced V. An enhanced V is basically meaning that we're pulling stratospheric air down from the stratosphere, and it's warmer. And what that does is that creates a little warm spot just downstream of the overshooting top. Now, I'm going to let this continue to load here. And boy, you can see it so well. First of all, the darker the colors, the colder the cloud top. So here you have really cold cloud tops. The gray shaded area is extremely cold. So you know this is what's called an overshooting top right here. This is an overshoot. But look at how it brightens up. It gets a little lighter red. This is warmer temperatures in the infrared. How is that possible and how is that happening? Well, what happens is it's called an enhanced. You can kind of see how it makes a little bit of a V. And when it's a really impressive satellite image, you can see that looks like a V. What's happening is, and this is kind of cool, the airflow, as you can see, is blowing the anvils from west to east. Now we know there's upper level support and upper level energy, but what's happening is your airflow is going towards the overshooting top. It gets to the overshooting top and it gets diverted around it. So I'm going to see if I can tilt the earth a little bit more so you can kind of see this. So imagine the airflow like that, and it's diverting around the overshooting top. Then what happens is this creates little eddies, if you will, on the backside of the overshooting top. And these are little localized low pressure systems. And if you know anything in meteorology, the pressure gradient force runs from high to low. So if we take this and we look, and we got low pressure east of the anvil, but at the same time, you got high pressure that's above it. Let's see if I can, there you go. You got high pressure above it. What happens is the pressure gradient force goes from high to low, and you're actually pulling down stratospheric air, which is warmer, behind the overshooting top. So now that you know and you see that, how that works, then what we're going to do is we're going to show you, putting it into motion, you can actually see that taking place. So I'm going to take this, we're going to slow this down to very slow, and then you're going to get to see every frame. Look at that. Impressive. Now the question is, are those cloud tops still remaining as cold as they make their way in northwest Arkansas? The answer is no, they're not. Look at the gravity waves too. Look at the buoyancy waves. You can see how that almost like ripples, like that ripples like pond, like ripples in a pond, like throwing a stone in a pond. Look at that. You can see the ripples in there. But look at, you can tell just by looking at the satellite image, what's the strongest updraft? Well, it's definitely the one by Enid, which is what caused the strongest tornado. This is a very warm temperature and a great enhanced V. So really cool how that stratospheric air is being pulled down in the vertical. Boy, I hate to say it, but this thunderstorm is taking off right now in eastern Oklahoma. Look at this thing. This thing went definitely broken the cap. There's a lot of lightning on that too. So we're gonna have to watch that, see what that does. That is a really impressive, yeah, enhanced V. So now watch this. We're going to look at, let's see, I think we can get maybe close to sundown, the overshooting top. Let's see. We can get the mesosector visible. We got to go back several hours, so bear with me. It's going to take a little while to populate this data, but I think it'll be worth it if we look at this convection that develops. In the meantime, I'm going to let that develop. So yeah, Stradler. That updraft is trying, man. High resolution satellite data is loading. Boy, that does have a lot of lightning with it. At the tops, it's getting tall too. Let's see what we got. Mega Doppler 4D. There's no storm right now, but there's about to be. We got to go here and adjust this. Yeah. That's not too bad of a cell. Getting bigger. There's the anvil of the storm. It's just in its infant stages. Look at this, but you can definitely see that storm intensifying. Ah, come on. Now we got a cell that's moving into northwest gravity, but it is elevated. We know that. Oh man, you could really see those explosive updrafts. That's cool. Let's go back to gravity here and we'll show you that cell coming in here. Gravit's not, it's getting a thunderstorm. It's got the outflow boundary. It'll have some lightning. Elevated base. Nothing concerning. McDonald County is a little stronger, but not necessarily tornadic. So that's good. Outflow boundary. Let's see what we got here. Storm winds. Bring that up. Okay, going back to Mega Doppler. Here's a look at the cell. Let's go to, there's a little bit of small hail. So I want to select the hail core because I want to see how fast this cell is moving. So let's update. Since it doesn't have a storm motion right now, we'll go here. And let's see, we got some other motions here. This marker here. Go back to the west a little bit. Set storm motion for marker. 37 knots to the east-northeast. There's storm relative velocity. It's all outflow. You can tell it's all outflow, and then we look at the reflectivity. So yeah, a little stronger coming into McDonald County, but nothing severe. Wind speeds of about 30 to 40 miles per hour, so strong enough to be a little gusty. Look at that. Got a little tornado warning near Mount Vernon. That's something that popped up. But that is where you have more of a balanced area and it's not outflow dominant. Let's switch radars here real quick. Speaking of that, we are going to have to switch radars shortly. That's just kind of like a cluster of storms. I'm gonna switch radars here real quick. Yeah. No, not a tornado warning in Berry County. It's north of Berry County. It's Lawrence County. Mount Vernon is Lawrence County. Oh, I hope they're not going Berry County. I don't think so. Close this out. Springfield. Those messages. I'm looking here. Whoa. Man, they had some crazy. Yeah, it's Lawrence County. They had some damage northwest of Joplin, some significant damage. Might cancel the warning soon. Yeah, so Berry County is not going to get a warning, it looks like. But we will have to watch those areas for the storms that move straight north to south. Ah, we got a little hodo here. Let's check that out and bring that up full. So there's Springfield's. Definitely a nice little critical angle. Scoff angle is 75, but I don't know if that's, let's zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. Something to watch for sure. I want to switch radars here because I want to get a better view of that cell. So we're going to switch radars and go to Springfield. It is a little more balanced and a little stronger in southwest McDonald County. But there is already still outflow. Let's see what we got here. That looks a little more suspicious right here. We got to watch that. There's that circulation that prompted the tornado warning right here. You can barely see it. So if we set the storm motion for the warning, it didn't last long. But there was something of concern, and that's what prompted that tornado warning. Then we look down here. Let's see what we've got. Still kind of elongated. Tornado warning is going to be dropped. It's gone. Mount Vernon, no more tornado warning. They canceled that. Look at how far the outflow is in Berry County. So way out ahead of the cell, which means that it's gusting out, which means the tornado potential is not as great. So not as concerned about that. But this area right here, let's continue to watch that gravit camera here real fast. And we go to our Gravit Weatherbug Network camera. Let's see if we can see. That was a nice CG right there. So lightning is definitely on the increase here. I can't move this. Let's see. The heck? A little bit better there. I'm just looking here. Just looking while I'm talking. So let's do a little track on this just to let you know where this is headed. So I don't see anything super menacing, but that base is a little bit lower. That line is coming through. It's a little more intense in northwest Benton County. And you can let me know what kind of winds you've experienced as we'll continue to monitor the chat. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring up, I'm going to bring up the Grab It Weather Network channel. We can look at both the radar. McDonald County, lots of rain and thunder. Yeah, we knew that was happening. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring up Max 1 and Max 2, so stand by here. There we go. By the way, this is where I wanted to show you this high-resolution satellite image because it finally loaded. Look at the explosion of thunderstorms from earlier today. This is what we call, oh, that was a good little flash right there. This is what we call a cumulus field. And that cumulus field ultimately led to the development of thunderstorms. You can see how they're trying, and then all of a sudden, they just started taking off. There's the updrafts. We'll move over a little bit. We'll zoom out here, and you're going to see the explosiveness of these storms. I shouldn't have moved it because now it's going to mess up. Man, those things took off big time. It's crazy how fast they exploded. But there, you can see those overshooting tops. And how do you know? Because what's happening is the sun is starting to set in the western sky, and this is called shadowing. So you're getting literally the blockage of the sun from the cloud updrafts reaching up really high. And then, of course, it gets to nighttime and you lose the daylight, and then the visible satellite disappears. But there's your cumulus field turning into thunderstorms, and boy, did that happen quick. And then watch the ripples as you get closer to that night. It is so cool to see that. All right, let's go to Mega Doppler here real quick and take a look at on Max 1 and watching the Grab It Weatherbug Network camera too. So right on the leading edge of this line, right in northwest Benton County, there is a little bit of rotation that's showing up. We're looking at it on our camera. There's just a little bit of an area near Maysville. We know the conditions are there for some of these storms to rotate a little stronger. Let's see what Tulsa is saying. So Waso had dime-sized hail. They have a special weather statement for this. Winds up to 50 miles per hour with this cell. Still not balanced, but it's close. And if that line surges out, we'll have to watch this. We'll move the camera over here. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. That's northwest. We want to be looking northwest. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of an edge to that base. Got some hail in McDonald County. Thank you, Teresa, for that. I've already looked at it, David. Now, granted, I haven't looked at the 0Z, the most recently updated one, but we'll look at it here in just a bit. But we got to watch this cell right here. You can see that on the right-hand side of the image. I'll show you what we're looking at. Right in here, you can kind of see a little bit of a base right there. That's definitely a shelf cloud. That's a good shelf cloud along the leading edge. Now, our radar beam is 5,000 feet up. So we've also got Decatur, too. We'll take a look at Decatur real fast. All right. All right, that's Decatur. I'm going to look basically northwest. And we'll look at that other cell, too, that's starting to develop as well. Well, Gravit's got a good camera now. Focus on the now. I know. There's so much stuff that can happen on Sunday. That's why I'm not really focused on that right now. We're looking at this cell. We're watching it. And here's the area of rotation. So it's starting to weaken again. You can kind of see how it's got it in there. It's not anything super evident to produce a tornado, but it is something that we have to watch, and it's got some strong gusty winds out ahead of it. So that is something. You can see how it's a little more balanced. It runs kind of north to south, but I'm still seeing kind of an elongated base right there. I'll take that cursor off the screen, but we're looking at this right here. Looks more like a shelf cloud to me. Now, it's not going to be raining in Siloam Springs either, but it will be later. I mean, we got training storms that are going to be moving in, but it looks like these storms are starting to weaken too. Oh. That cell is not as elevated as I want. There it is coming into southwest Missouri. So rain is going to be hitting right now very soon. Sulphur Springs, if you live in Sulphur Springs, Maysville, you're getting some rain. Good news is the farther south you go, the tornado potential is basically non-existent. But southwest Missouri needs to watch somewhat. And they just said they're watching an area for Dade and the Lawrence County line. That's outflow boundary. That's not a balanced area. All this area, this is look at this boundary right here intersecting the line. So this would be an area that could bring tornado potential if we look. Yeah, right here looks kind of suspect. But that's north of Springfield, so that's not really in our weather coverage area. All right, this part of the line that's moving into Gravit right now on the west side of Gravit. Let's continue to watch this camera. I've got it recording. Watching this closely. See if we can see any type of structure with this in between lightning strikes. Just kind of panning around here. It's raining heavy northeast of Jay. Yeah, I know. Jay is getting a nice downpour. Decatur is a little south of the rotation. The rotation is north of that. Yep. Right now, we're just watching right along the line. I'll show you the most dangerous portion of the line. It's basically running from about Gravit northward to Knoll, but this is definitely something to watch as it gets a little more balanced. So, still not quite there. Another special weather statement right now, Western Benton, Eastern Delaware County. Looks more like a shelf cloud, though, that's coming through. Yeah, I got a good view of that right there as that lightning strike happened. Looked like circulation is weakened according to that visually. We'll look at the latest here. Remember, this radar beam's quite a ways up, so we're going to change the radar now as that tornado warning is pretty much expired. It has up to the north, and then they issued a severe thunderstorm warning for that. Let's switch to Tulsa's radar. And we got those other cells that are popping up to the southwest of us, but they're not really becoming severe. It's just going to provide some rain. I don't see any supercell characteristics on those, so we're good on that. Okay, now let's look and see what we got. Yeah, see that it's just a part of the line. A little bit of an elongated line right there. So let's put a track on this and let you know where this is headed. So let's do INX. It's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So let's take that part of the storm and let's move it east. And I'll bring this up full too so you can see. I don't think it's going to be impacting Bentonville. Let's take that. We'll move that north. That's the most dangerous portion of the line here. Let me make sure I got the right storm speed on there. Whoa, that's way too fast. 40, about 40 miles per hour. And let's move that northward a little bit. There you go. Okay, so those are the areas that are going to be impacted, and I'll bring this up full so you can see. We've got Pineville at 132. Man, it's already almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Centerton, 155. That's going to be on the south end of this line. Gateway, 220. And Shell Knob, 239. McDonald County is getting definitely quite a bit of a thunderstorm right now, but in pretty soon you'll be able to go to bed and all the storms are going to be out of there. And honestly, this doesn't have tornado potential with it anymore, so that's good. Looks like the outflow is winning out. Definitely outflow dominant. Wind speed's probably going to be about 50 miles per hour. Yeah, I don't like comparing, and honestly, I don't really know what to compare Sunday to yet. It's kind of its own unique thing, to be honest with you. I say that because let's see what it looks like as we get closer, um but there's a lot of storms that are popping up riding a warm front, and so I don't really see much of a comparison, honestly. Can't really think of one either. Could be because I'm beat dead tired, but we'll stay on these storms until hopefully, Josh, you're on your way in. I'm about to tap out here pretty soon. But going back to live Doppler radar, there's the track of the storm. Let's go back to Mega Doppler. We'll take a look at it. And notice how that part of the line is more intense, and then you got this is just rain and thunderstorms. This is also going to be just rain and thunderstorms. Nothing major, nothing severe, not even close. Lightning's kind of been on the decrease too. All right, let's go back to I know. Monday is the 2011, April 27th, 2011 April outbreak. There's a lot of Aprils, but the super outbreak anniversary. Here's the deal with comparing, and I'll do this while I have this, just to let you know, while I have that mega Doppler source on. And I want to go back to reflectivity, so hold on just a second. Let's go back to reflectivity on this. Ooh, good lightning, by the way. Let me go to max 2 so we can see that as well from Gravit. Um, yeah, you don't wanna make any comparison because each event has its own thing. Like, now going forward, any future events, people will try to compare to what happened yesterday. That's true. And on top of that, even though system can look exactly the same, it might not behave the same. It might not do the exact same thing. Yeah, Gravit's about to get a downpour. We're about to see it on the camera too. It's coming in here real soon. Which day, in your opinion, has the highest chance for tornadoes? I think Sunday, personally. However, the models are not breaking out storms, but that doesn't surprise me in the least. Here comes the rain. Yep, exactly. It's just going to rain on and off. And look at the time, 1:35, 2 o'clock in the morning, right on schedule, man. Let's watch this sucker come in. There's the base of the thunderstorm. You got the whale's mouth behind that. Meanwhile, I'm just going to make sure I'm not missing something on the radar. I'm not. Outflow dominant. Still about 50 miles per hour winds, though. Just about ready to downpour. Check this out. Our Gravit High School Weatherbug Network camera right on the leading edge of this heavy rain that's about to move in. Pretty much. Yeah, I think you can go to bed. There will be some rumbles of thunder. You'll hear some You'll see some lightning, you'll hear some thunder, like I said, it'll be okay though. You got that right. Everything and anything is subject to change. And now, downpour. It's kind of everywhere, but it all depends on where that warm front positions itself. So I think the whole area will be under a risk on Sunday. And that will be the new day 3 convective outlook. Kelsey's saying not too bad right now, so that's good. Kelsey, by the way, got some really awesome. I was chatting with her last night or 2 nights ago, I guess it would be at this point. And she got some of the iDrive cameras. She got a awesome power flash from the storms a little while ago. Not this week, but last week. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's getting too windy and grab it. Of course, it's just about ready to nudge in there. Pan it north and see if we can see anything. This is all outflow dominant. No severe weather expected anymore. Got some cells that are popping up southwest. Let's see if we can see those from Lincoln. Let's see what we got here. So that's the Gravit camera. We're switching cameras here. We're going to bring up Lincoln. Nah, can we make sure Kobe is in the area? I know. No, rotation's not there. It's gone. Look at how elevated these cells are. So, yeah, we're good. Let's see if we can get any flashes of lightning. Yeah, here's the deal, guys. Once this initial line comes through, I think everybody will be able to go to bed. This is just going to be a big, heavy rainmaker, and that's about it. Ooh, that was a good bolt. Yeah, I love that one. See all those cells? These are all these isolated cells that are popping up. Southwest Washington County, Adair County. So here's the good news. Let's work our way north to south. So first of all, Pineville's getting a good storm, but it's not severe. It's just under severe limits. You got nothing in Berry County. McDonald County, though, getting that stronger storm. And you can see that making that way eastward. It's not super intense. We look at the circulation, there really wasn't one. Very briefly, mainly in the outflow. And you work your way south. That's a little more balanced there. That will have to be watched a little more. Now let's go to our Posey Mountain Weather Bug Network camera because we might be able to see that. Let's see here. Presets, Northwest. Northwest is going to be looking into the tower, but Maybe we can see something here. There's that part of the cell that we got to watch. We also have Bentonville's camera too, Midtown Square. We can look northwest on that. We already are. Yep. We just have to watch this little part of the line that's running north to south a little bit more than elsewhere. There's Posey, and we're looking in that cell tower off to the northwest. And we also have P Ridge too that we could check out as well. Let's take a look here at tracking out this part of the line here. So this is a little bit of a different area. So we got Centerton coming in at about 148, Bella Vista at 153, Bentonville 155. So that's like, man, it's about 10 minutes, a little bit about 12 minutes away. So you can expect some storms to be moving in here. Bella Vista 153. Speaking of Bella Vista, let's see what we got here. Looking at our weather boat network camera from Bella Vista, as that line just about is to make its way in. Not seeing a whole lot of lightning, but then again, these cameras are a little bit older. P Ridge, look west on that. Let's see what we got here. I know you guys are asking questions, and all we have is this northern part of the line that's a little bit pesky. Yeah, see how it's becoming outflow dominant though. Got a little gusty winds with it though. And then all these other cells that are popping up as well. So just rain and wind. Wind is just now picking up in the P Ridge area. Well, that's good news. If it's picking up, that means we got even the outflow is extending even farther out away from the storm, which means less tornado potential. So that's good. Been seeing some nice bolts towards Bella Vista. Yeah, rain outside of P Ridge, and what you're getting right now is just this little isolated shower activity right in here. That's moving in. Then the stronger storm stuff is to the west. Not severe. Not really rotating much anymore anyways. So that's good. New special weather statement just issued. Special weather statement means it's a strong storm, but it's not quite severe. They got gusts up to 40 miles per hour. I don't live too far from the weather lab. I live only about 10, 15 minutes away. 15 minutes on a busy traffic time, but only 10 minutes. Dan, if you like heavy metal, 100 recommend. I'm here revisited. 100% recommended. I'm here revisited. It's awesome. I'm here revisited. All right. Love heavy metal. Light sprinkling on Dean Street. Yeah, grab it. Good night. Go to bed. You're done. Storm's already moved through. So you're going to get some heavy rain and thunderstorm activity, but that's about it. I'm ready to plant and go to bed myself. There were some tornadoes that planted today or yesterday in Oklahoma. Man, they were wicked, and I can't wait to see the video. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Kind of need that right now. You tell me what those winds are, Josh, as the storm's coming in. It doesn't look super menacing. 40 miles per hour, that's under severe limits. This is our Bella Vista camera. It's barely moving. You can see the leading edge of the line, though. That's kind of cool. Just tuning in, Edward. Storm is trying, but not really doing it. No, if there is hail, it's like pea-size hail, Michelle, so it's not super big. That's what I was saying. Great porch sitting, thunderstorm watching weather. You got that right. That's a good question. So you got a translation of the upper level flow, and then what happens is typically you either have what's called a rear inflow jet, which can basically be when you got outflow that gusts out ahead of the storm, and that gets translated or pushed down to the ground, or you get a descending downdraft, and then that gets pushed forward, or you have the storm motion that will drag the winds down from the ground. Look at the Rogers camera. Let's do that here. Oh, yeah, there you go. Got a little bit of a lowering there on the Rogers camera. So that would be where your strongest updraft is. And that is looking in a northwesterly direction, north. Yeah, you can see that. Rogers camera's good. We've got to get more of those 6315 access cameras, no doubt about that. Yeah, that's looking north-northwest. Yeah, that's got a little bit of a lowering, a little bit of an enhanced lowering. It's something to watch. It is a lowering. You can tell it's a lowering because check this out. You're going to see the base of the thunderstorm. And then you see how it just hangs down a little bit lower right there. And you can actually see it in the city lights. Right there is the base of the thunderstorm. And then you got a lowering right there. So what's happening, just in case you're wondering, and what causes the lowering is you have air. Can I draw on this? It doesn't look like it. But I will be able to this way. So what's happening here is you are having air that's rising up in the updraft like this. And what that does is that creates a lower pressure, which allows the air to condense a little bit lower down to the ground. So that tells you there's a little bit of a stronger updraft right there. So whenever you see that lowering, it's essentially a part of the wall. It could be a wall cloud, might be just a little bit of an enhanced lowering, but that's the base of the thunderstorm, and you're getting that rising motion. And what that does is that creates a lower pressure. And then that lowered pressure, what it does is it allows the saturation to take place a little bit lower, which is why you got a base. Let me see if we have a cam. Oh, look at that one. Check this out. The Bentonville. I just saw that on the Bentonville Midtown building. This is a little bit better. You can see the base off in the distance here. A lot closer. Wait till a lightning flash. Just to the right of the water tower. You can almost see what looks like a tail cloud too trying to develop. Let's see what we got here. We're going to have to switch radars, starting to get into the range folding. So we'll go back to Springfield. Did we get a good shot of the base? Yeah, there you can kind of see the base just right over that building, flashing red light off in the distance, just to the right of the water tower. A little bit of an enhanced lowering. Go back to that Rogers camera again. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's falling apart again. Just visually, you can tell it's starting to fall apart. Yeah, we are recording this Rogers camera just to see that base. Whew, 1.5 inches of rain. I do want to show you something. They issued a mesoscale precipitation discussion. Just that pesky part of the line there that's running north and south that we have to watch a little bit more. Yeah. See how that lowering isn't quite as intense? So once you start to lose the intense updraft, no. This is someone that says right here, nice wall cloud, but it's behind the gust front, which means it's probably not going to do anything more than produce scary looking clouds. Yep. So for me, there's an old Dokken 90s rock song called Lightning Strikes, and it's a really good hair band heavy metal that I think is really, really cool. That might be my theme song. Look it up. When the lightning strikes again. Wind is howling in Centerton. Okay, thanks for letting me know about that. Definitely going to have some gusty winds ahead of this line. This is actually looking obviously northwest of looking at the storm that's northwest of Rogers. It hasn't hit Rogers yet. Let's look at our Bentonville Junior High School weather bug network camera, because this is where the line is just about ready to move in. When the lightning strikes, yeah. Gen X, people love Dokken. Oh, of course I've heard AC/DC's Thunderstruck. Absolutely. I do want to bring in your attention to the potential for heavy rain. So the mesoscale precipitation discussion that came out for our area talks about heavy rain and flash flooding potential. And I'm going to bring this up, so I'm going to show you here. I'm going to say share this tab. Josh Rugger in the hizzle.
You're moving. Frozen surprise.
All right. Well, we're looking at, did you see this lowering here? Just a little bit of a lowering.
Talk about it, yes.
Check this out. You'll see it right here. Just a little bit of a lowering in between lightning strikes. He didn't really do much. But I want to go back to this. We're going to bring up, while we've got this camera, this is something called the mesoscale precipitation discussion. And you got to love the Weather Prediction Center's graphics. But anyways, and their website too.
Very outdated.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
But flash flooding will continue to be likely overnight, with a threat extending through sunrise. Look at the amount of thunderstorm activity, heavy rain potential. We're looking at Tulsa, Stillwater, outflow boundaries, all that stuff. And what it says is backbuilding and training thunderstorms. Yes, is this mine, little guy?
That's yours right there.
Little guy,
I said a little frozen surprise, right?
Because he got a little one, all right.
Because if you're going tall, that means you're going to be up all night, right?
That's
this gets you like a 30-minute boost.
It gives, all right,
it's like
all right, I'll take it.
It's like a 30-minute boost.
I'll take it. That was kind of getting a little finicky, that northwest side of the line.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't super close, but it was something like, we got to watch it pretty closely.
Well, it tells you that our environment's still there. The only limiting factor right now is that big outflow boundary in front of everything. We didn't have that in front of these storms, man. Yeah, we'd be in trouble.
Now, those other cells too are popping up. Oh, it's so tasty.
It's a great pick-me-up.
It slaps.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so it says 1.5 to 2.5 inch per hour rainfall rates. Significant urban flash flood threat.
Wow.
Northeast Oklahoma. Convection will likely grow upscale. Broad totals 2 to 4 inches. Localized amounts possibly exceeding 5 inches, which, by the way, was a 7-day precipitation forecast.
I know that.
In one night.
In one night, right there, with more to come as well.
Latest radar and satellite trends depict a highly active convective environment. And it shows thunderstorms are continuously backbuilding and training. The thermodynamic and kinetic environment is exceptionally supportive of extreme rainfall rates.
Boy, oh boy.
Strong 40 to 50 knot southwesterly low-level jet is impinging directly onto the outflow boundary, providing intense moisture convergence and tapping into a robust instability pool characterized by 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of MU Cape. Furthermore, upper level divergence associated with the ejected trough is providing deep layer ascent to sustain robust convective updrafts.
A lot of that mid-level instability is still in place there.
Given the quasi-linear nature of the boundary and the parallel alignment of the convection, almost like QG vectors, the deep layer steering flow, persistent cell training is occurring. This will pose a significant localized flash flooding threat over the highly sensitive urban footprints from Stillwater through the Tulsa metro area over the next few hours. As the cold front pull eventually strengthens and coalesces, convection is expected to go upscale into an east-southeast propagating MCS. However, the strong southwesterly low-level jet will continue to favor persistent backbuilding on the southwest flank of the convective mass, effectively slowing the forward transition of the heaviest rainfall cores. Highest resolution guidance, including the HRRR and 0Z HREF, the high-resolution ensemble forecast, supports widespread 2 to 4 inches. Towards sunrise and through the 12Z timeframe, this complex will push into the Ozark Plateau across southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. As the low-level flow interacts with the complex topography of the Ozarks, mechanical lift will sustain high rainfall rates. The steep, flashy basins of this region will be highly susceptible to rapid runoff from these accumulations, carrying a localized flash flooding threat through the morning commute. Wow, that was really detailed.
That was very detailed.
That was amazing.
Well done as well. Who was the forecaster on that one? Love to see that.
Orison.
Shout out to Orison. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that really was.
So I guess really the main concern you have to worry about during your morning commute, and of course we'll be talking about this on the news in about 3 hours, but the flash flooding potential, man, That is going to be ramping up big time this morning.
Well, we just heard every single scientific parameter, hey, Bob, available to talk about it.
Yes, they put everything in there. I was going to say, Dan, I was thinking ahead on this front, but obviously we've got multiple rounds of severe weather possible. Obviously, it's not really looking too threatening right now.
Yeah.
But as we go throughout the next several days, my concern is that we're going to see these bulbs on these trees be filled with water. And as these storms get progressively stronger, especially Sunday evening, that means we'll be a little bit more susceptible to widespread tree damage.
You talking about the root balls?
Root bulbs, yep.
Okay. Lots of lightning in Pea Ridge. Let's check that out.
Yeah.
We'll look at the Pea Ridge camera. Yeah, no, I agree.
It's concerning.
Dokken and George Lynch were unstoppable. Man, people like Dokken. Have you ever heard Dokken before?
I have. No.
Oh, I would play it, but I'll instantly be copyrighted in about 4 seconds from Facebook saying, you do not own the rights to this music. It's like, just chill.
The entire country of Lebanon going to come out.
I know.
Just like last time.
I know.
They're coming for you, man. Okay. I like this camera too because it's completely dark. So we can see all the lightning going on.
Yeah, it's too dark. You can't see the lightning. Get an old 25 panel up on Weather 3 and then make that full screen.
Aha, so the Miss Laura's camera was the one that decided to go down. Perfect. I knew somebody was going to go down.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff that went down.
Of course.
So I see a question here. Clay Patton 23. Sorry, I'm just trying to learn how this phone works. Just curious as to whether or not you.
Huh?
It's me.
It's me.
Yeah. I'm going to see. There's got to be a. Sorry, Dan. Oh. Well, I hate to see that your life is falling apart. That's, we all kind of feel that way sometimes, no doubt. I'll be praying for you. Could say that they're the imposter. Ha ha ha.
I played Among Us.
The imposter among us.
Yes.
I'm checking down. I'm reading all your last.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Lowering. Yeah, we talked about a lowering, Clayton. So it just basically means that, and I explained all that. I showed the rising motion in the updraft. You're getting a condensing of the cloud base a little lower thanks to lower pressure, which basically causes saturation a little lower. And that's why you get a lowering.
I liked your explanation of the splitting storms too.
Oh, the enhanced V?
Yes.
Yeah, enhanced Vs are cool, man. Those are awesome.
It is epic.
All right, let's take this off here. And let's.
We're on the Springfield radar right now.
Check this out. Why don't we just look at all the cameras at once? Why don't we look at a little strobe party here?
Yeah.
So here you go.
There we go. Skadoosh.
Couple cameras down. Look at which one is back, by the way. Harbor.
Oh, Harbor, let's go.
Harbor came back on.
That's a clutch camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's captured many tornadoes.
I think we can take Posey and point it north. Oh, there you go. Why is Baja Blast so good?
Dude, I don't know what they put in that, but
crack. Seems like it.
And a lot of it. That's what crack tastes like.
No, who knows?
Give it to me.
As long as it's good for you and not illegal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the line is slow, and there's a reason for it because it's back building.
My goodness, look at all that lightning in Tulsa. Woo.
Drop a Baja off on the front porch as you rumble on by. All right, I got you. I got you, Deet. The Hodo Brodo.
Hodo Brodo. But you're like one of those like newspaper boys now.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like you got Baja Blast on the back of your bike and shoop,
Extra.
delivery. Sunday edition's a whole 12-pack.
Hey, let's show radar here. We haven't shown radar in a little while. Let's go to reflectivity. All right, so this is what we've got. Josh, give us a little tour.
Yeah. So right now, the initial line of storms is moving through central Benton County right now. So moving right into the Bentonville area, Bella Vista, my neck of the woods. Are getting some very heavy rain, lightning, Gentry, heavy rainfall as well. A little bit farther west towards Jay. Also have some more of that back building that we are just talking about. So those training thunderstorms can lead to that localized flooding threat. A little bit farther to the south, there's that little cell you were talking about earlier, Dan. Didn't end up really taking off, which is
nope,
fantastic,
thankfully, yeah.
Thankfully. But I did see some of that lightning while I was getting my Taco Bell out in Fayetteville, and so that's going to be moving off to the north and east and bringing some scattered heavy rain showers to Fayetteville, which, by the way, Dixon Street is hopping
right now.
There are
at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock, there are hundreds of students out there.
Wow.
Right now. I don't know what's going on.
Well, they're about to be soaked.
They're about to be soaked.
Soon to be soaked.
As a matter of fact, I might go out to the patio and say, "Hey,
yeah, you're about to get rained on.
You're about to get rained on." But obviously, you can tell by our demeanors these are not.
Yeah.
Storms.
Someone had a question about what is backbuilding. What is backbuilding? Backbuilding is where thunderstorms continue to develop on the backside or on the left side or on the west side of them. Let's play that radar and put it into motion, and you will see not much backbuilding because it's not a long enough radar
because
loop.
it's backbuilding the loop.
But here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you this is backbuilding.
Oh my goodness.
That's a slow moving system. So what that means is additional thunderstorms will continue to develop to the west of this and then just continue to redevelop.
And it's really driven by those cold pools too.
Yeah.
They lead to just more thunderstorms. It's kind of like a chain reaction.
What was our floater? Was it TLX? Yes, it was. Okay, so let's go back 6 hours. Let's see if we can get the Enid. Yeah. Oh, just barely missed it.
Dang it.
Here, you'll see it right there. Look at that hook.
I don't think I've ever seen a hook like that before.
Yeah.
I mean,
this was earlier, 8:12 in the evening. So just showing you this is not current. And this is Enid. Look at how it became a considerable tornado. That's the yellow shade. And then watch the pink show up here very briefly. You don't see that normally, but there's a tornado emergency. But watch how this tornado emergency was issued for like 15 minutes. And then it became right here, it became back to considerable. And then it just became the tornado warning. But there was too many cells that interacted with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have went nuts.
Especially with where the hook was located. I'm like, that's not going to be a long track tornado.
No.
Man, it was a beast.
Now look at all the flash flood warnings. That's why they put all that out. And so we got some decent rain coming our way. There's no doubt about that. Look at this. This is coming into Fayetteville here real soon.
Yep. Got some colliding storms there.
It went from something to watch to tornado emergency in 12 minutes.
It's incredible how quickly that can change.
Go back to our lightning show here.
Yes. Party in the skies.
All right. So what's your thoughts? I want to get your thoughts about this weekend.
Well, after looking at what's going on Saturday evening, now we got to have our alarm bells up for that. It does look like that's trended a little bit earlier.
I would say so.
Yeah, because yesterday morning, I was thinking more like overnight Saturday into Sunday morning once again. But here's the deal. So that's got me thinking now. So if it comes through earlier Saturday evening into early Sunday morning, right, that means a lot of the convection will likely clear out quicker Sunday as well, which was the one thing I was curious about for the Sunday system, because to me, Sunday's probably got the highest ceiling. You know, if supercells develop, which I think they will, I think the models right now are just struggling with convecting things.
Yeah.
But if we don't see any storms throughout the day Sunday, if we don't see that anvil seeding or the cloud coverage or the rain, That's going to lead to a higher end severe weather threat for Sunday, and I think we're going to see that enhanced get shifted a little bit farther east. Because remember, it's a little bit west of us, at least along the I-49 corridor for Sunday right now. Matter of fact, I guess we probably do have the day 3 outlook at this time.
That lightning is popping, and that bottom left, is that Lincoln? That's got to be Lincoln.
Yeah.
Good old Lincoln. Yeah, Lincoln's just going nuts. So anyway, keep going, keep talking. I'm gonna pop that one up here.
Yep. So Saturday evening,
Lincoln is popping off.
Woo! Oh, yeah. It's speaking.
Yeah.
It's talking.
By the way, I had a question about Westville. You're okay in Westville. Yeah. You're just getting some thunderstorms right now. Just hopping on. You're getting thunderstorms, but nothing tornadic, nothing severe, and a little noisy. Not even really a gusty winds. A lot of lightning. Wow, yeah, lightning is going nuts. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, Saturday evening. I think it's a higher end severe weather threat for Saturday evening now at this point. I think the SPC just glitched, man. Like, because I went to the day 2 outlook on the SPC site, it wasn't even updated. It was still the one for today. So I think there was a glitch in the system there.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense. And then I think that could lead to a higher ceiling for Sunday evening as well. And I think both of these systems now, or both of these little pieces of energy, are actually going to be earlier in the evening than expected or previously anticipated. And then we get into Monday. And with all that energy lagging behind, I think we see additional severe weather potential Monday as well, area-wide. I think that risk is continuing to increase.
Is this zoomed in? Zoom out on that. I think that's zoomed in. Yeah, I want to zoom out on that. Yeah, I guess it wasn't really zoomed out. I mean, zoomed in. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was a beautiful shot.
I faced that one
right in the right spot.
Yep.
I know it's getting noisy. I can see the numbers increasing as people are like, what is going on? Well, here we are. We're live streaming, but we're not in full-blown severe weather coverage mode on air because there's nothing severe.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything severe. This will be heavy rain. Flooding is the number one killer of weather phenomenon, so make sure you're aware of that. Excuse me. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
But there's a look at the thunderstorms that are beginning to move in. Westville, you already had the storms. You got more storms, and look at how they are back building as additional rain continues to move in. This is going to be some heavy rain. In fact, let's look at real quick. This is something that's not great, but it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. There's a thing called, I don't even know if I left the product in here because it's such garbage. Instantaneous rainfall rates, but I don't think I see it. It's like a dual pole product. I don't have it in there. These are some of the rain totals, though. Just in the past, we already had an inch and a half from that storm moving in.
There's more to come. Those same spots.
Yeah, pretty decent little heavy rain. Let's look at our Decatur or our network camera. You can see that rain coming down probably. This camera's been a little slow. Benville Square. That's a downpour.
Yeah.
Man, you can really see that.
I think trends continue over the next several days. I think we're going to be saying bye-bye to that drought. I think that's going to be a thing of the past.
Well, we have to hit 15 inches according to what I've seen. And I don't know if we get that, but we've already dropped it down to a moderate drought. Yeah.
How does that calculate? That's my question.
So on Tuesday, they gather all the information in terms of how much soil moisture there is, how much rain there's been, where the rain's been located. So if there's like a rain on Wednesday, then you don't see it till the following week.
Right.
Because Tuesday is when all the information is gathered.
And they actually release the maps on Thursday. And one of my questions is like, how do they come up with that 15-inch number? Because there's like different soil moisture levels.
I don't know.
That always confused me just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not as easy as just saying, "Oh man, your deficit for the year is minus 2 or 3 inches." Right?
Yeah.
Because obviously that doesn't take into account how long you've or how big of a gap you've had between events. So it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go warn the kids.
Who's that?
The students out there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say, "Hey guys, watch out."
All right. Well, you got that going on. We'll look at Fayetteville's Mount Sequoia camera. Oh, yeah. You can definitely see that thunderstorm coming this way. Speaking of Fayetteville, yeah, you can go to bed. You'll get some rumbles of thunder. You'll get some lightning. You'll get some heavy rain. But nothing tornadic, nothing severe. So that's good. I told you it was going to be electrifying. That's why we got the lightning tie on. Me personally, when Josh comes back, I'll talk about Saturday night. I think Saturday night, well, there's still going to be wind, Kiefer. Just just depends on how much wind we get. I mean, it probably won't be anything severe. Yeah, that's going to be a nice little downpour coming in. Well, rain definitely happened. It did storm. It's in the early morning hours, just like expected. I'm still live streaming. Anybody out there?
They're everywhere out there, and I don't think they heeded my warning very well. There wasn't a lot of urgency.
Did they look at you?
They did.
Like, huh?
I had one guy go like that, thumbs
Okay,
up.
all right. He's probably 2 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, but thumbs up, and meaning that he didn't use his thumb. He used the different finger.
Dan telling me heavy rain near your location. Yeah, bro, it's pouring on me. Oh, there's a rumble of thunder. Finally heard some thunder in War Eagle. You'll hear that. There's more lightning. I'm probably seeing some more lightning. You're welcome. That's why we do what we do.
Of course. Because
if it is something real serious, then of course, we're going to be doing crazy. We're going to be on it.
Yeah.
We'll flip into severe weather mode like that.
The old Dixon Street double salute. That's exactly what I got. It wasn't a thumb. We got to keep it PG.
I was wondering. That was nice of them to give you a thumbs up.
It was not a thumbs up.
The old double salute.
Yeah, the old Dixon Street double salute.
Well, let's see if there's any lightning bolts that come down and maybe zap that. Give that guy a little taste.
That's what the weather's about to do to him.
Yeah.
It's about to give him a double salute with this rain.
It's a good little downpour coming.
Oh, absolutely.
The parameter space that we have right now is actually not too shabby. It's just we just don't have. We'll look at it here.
It's literally just that outflow boundary.
0 to 3 kilometer. We're at 45 knots.
Wow.
And what's the 0 to 3 kilometer cape? Non-existent. That's what it is.
There you go.
We don't have the 0 to 3 kilometer cape.
Thank goodness, because 45 knots.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. All right, I'm going to tell you what I think, Josh, looking at the latest and kind of looking at some of the stuff. I think that, hey, can you put a weather camera in Seligman, please? Man, I'd love to.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Dollar drinks at Bing and Yeehog.
I do know Yeehog.
Yeah.
Been there a time or two.
Here it comes. And this is just going to be a little burst, too.
Yeah.
Going to be a burst. Absolutely pouring in Bentonville. So we haven't shown the radar here. Let's go to live Doppler radar. Let's zoom in. There's really nothing exactly in particular to look at in terms of circulations or anything like that. It's all on the leading edge of the line. But yeah, Pea Ridge, Garfield, Gateway about to get a nice little downpour. we can look at our Posey Mountain Weather Bug Network camera. Let's see. I got it. North. That's facing north. There you go. Well, it was. Now, oh, did you?
Yeah, just to take a look at that phase.
So elevated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty sight, though. Those are some pretty storms.
Wow, that's interesting. That Enid tornado you were showing earlier, Dan, this is the first tornado emergency in Oklahoma since the Custer City tornado back on May 19th, 2024, which, by the way, was the series of storms that led up to the May 26, 2024 severe weather tornado outbreak that we had.
Yes.
And that shows you how consecutive days of severe weather can lead to these big events.
And a bit of fatigue as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as well when it comes to severe weather events, especially if you get a string of them back to back to back. I kind of remember too, leading up to that Memorial Day storm, we were kind of dodging some bullets.
Oh, we were very much so.
Yes,
it wasn't even a kind of.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
You look at these risks that did not pan out.
Mm-hmm. And even with the Memorial Day storms, remember you had the moderate risk that was well west of the area. Level 3 to 5 was clipping like northeast Oklahoma. And I went out and chased the Saturday leading up to Sunday, and I saw nothing out in Oklahoma except for hail. And I was like, well, guess I'm going home now. And then that one supercell.
You were going home, and then I called you, and I said, oh, no, you're staying out there. You're staying out there.
Because I was in Leech, and I was like, man, dude, I'm so tired. Like, I've been out here for like 15 hours wasting my time.
I know.
And you were like, just give me 30 minutes. Trust me, give me 30 minutes and watch what happens. And like 20 minutes later, poof, Claremore.
Yeah. And that storm was electrified, man. Highly electrified. I'm going to bring this up, kind of looking at a little bit of a ragged cloud. But see, you can tell it's not rotating. If it was rotating, number one, you would see it change shape and look multiple in multiple basically lightning flashes. It would look different every time. Number two, it'd probably be smoothed on the edge. It's not smoothed on the edge.
Rough.
Now, the rotation that happened near Blackwell. Now that was rotation earlier this evening, man. Some of those supercells, they were pretty impressive. Let's go back to Mega Doppler. So I just want to say this. Saturday, I think, has a big window in the river valley if a storm rides a warm front, because the warm front's going to be lifting northward throughout Saturday evening.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily agree with that tornado risk on the day two being out west like that. It just doesn't make sense.
It has to be a glitch. There's no way.
That doesn't even really match the risk outline.
Exactly.
Something's weird with it. And it doesn't even match where the storms are. I mean, I know there's going to be some isolated storms along the dry line.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even have a hatched either.
Well, and the thing is too is that you're going to Saturday and pretty much all during the daytime hours we should be quiet and dry. So that warm front will lift to the north. It's not going to be like we're socked in with cloud coverage all day and that warm front just hits it. So I don't see anything stopping.
We could be, and sometimes you don't think that cloud cover is going to clear out, and it doesn't.
Good point. See, the only reason I was thinking that maybe the cloud coverage wouldn't be a big deal is because the moisture's already in place. So you're not getting that moisture transporting.
That's true.
But we'll see. It's also a very stout southerly flow.
Well, we got a shout out here. This is cool. Check this out. My favorite two meteorologists, dynamic duo. Keep up the amazing work. Watch you from Seligman, Missouri. I would love to get a camera in Southwest Missouri. I want to get one in Grove. I want to get one in LaFleur County. We've got abilities, but gosh, I just need some time to get it done to make the calls. We should be getting one in Rogers too. Very close to the airport. It's going to be northeast Rogers. Beautiful spot.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah.
The more cameras we have, The more we can cover.
The more that will go down.
Yes. The more that can go down.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
On the day of a severe weather event, I'll tell you what, though, these cameras, they work perfectly in the summertime.
Yeah.
They work perfectly.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, when there's nothing going on.
Yes, exactly.
We do need a radar here.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Save the money for a radar. Wow.
I feel like every time we talk about this on live stream, getting a radar in Northwest Arkansas.
I would love to. I love it. That would be my contribution.
Yeah. Be fantastic.
Oh, we
Okay.
just had a new cell tower built. Verizon owns. I believe would love to see a WeatherBug camera up here.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, put a tower. Yeah, get a tower in Southwest Missouri. That'd be awesome. Love that. Put Grove's camera around Sailboat Bridge. That would be really good. Right over Grand Lake, very close to that.
Some good spots right here.
Yeah. I think we're going to get around 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches. You notice how the heavy rain swath is kind of shifting south. So
it's also slowing down considerably.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, you saw that's just one model showing that supercell over Fayetteville on Saturday evening. One model.
I mean, it is a pretty big deal when the graph shows it, though.
We actually have the radar. We've done an analysis on it, and it's about 1.2 million for a good C-band radar, and that's what we would be looking for. We've got a C-band radar. It's just old, 250 kilowatt, but there's so much stuff that needs to be done with it, and it's just not. It's not in the best location. So, anyways, what do you think? We're gonna shut this down or wait for the day 3 convective outlook?
Should day 3 be out by now?
Pretty soon.
You mind if I look here?
Let's check it out.
Let's see. Oh. All right, these are the new ones.
No. Is that the same?
That's the same.
That's the same.
Let me see if they change the tornado. What? See, there's no way that is correct.
Yeah, I know.
There's no way.
I know. It's weird.
That's a glitch.
What do the velocities show for the storm near Tahlequah? Let's check that out, Caden.
I'm going to change the radar then to Tulsa.
Okay.
We're still in Springfield.
It's just there's so much outflow. Yeah, here allow that to give you some time here. You can tell them to look at this. Shut it down. Yep.
Absolutely.
No, Edward, I don't want to do that right now. I did do that earlier, and I've done that on the news, but 30 years ago, April 21st, 1996 was a pretty bad night, and there's just too many storms right now to show an archive radar going back to that time. You know what I mean? So we could do it later. What do you think? Something sus?
I don't think so.
No?
It doesn't line up with reflectivity.
Oh, yeah.
Way out ahead. Doesn't line up. Yeah.
Yeah, so check this out. This is something we call side lobe contamination. And what we're going to do is bring that up on Megadoppler. That, by the way, is the day 2 convective outlook. And the day 3 is very similar. So the day 3 has not been updated yet. Make sure about that. But there's Megadoppler. And so there's what you're looking at.
Yeah, so I was looking just off to the south and west of Scrapper. We're about to scrap this live stream very soon.
Scrapper or scraper? I always wondered.
That's a good question.
Scraper?
Scraper. Either way, it's a fun name.
Scrapper.
But as you can see, we got a little bit of light rain going on near Scrapper/Scraper. And then if we go to storm relative velocity, notice how if you were just looking at storm relative velocity, thinking, all right, that's kind of an area of interest, but as Dan was just mentioning, this is what we call side lobe contamination. It doesn't line up with base reflectivity, so there's no area of rotation there.
Yeah, in order to measure the movement of the hydrometeors, you got to have precipitation. And if it doesn't show that, that's an anomalous velocity signature, meaning it's not accurate.
So we're good.
And that's way out ahead. Scrapper.
Scrapper.
2 P's in scrapper. Yeah, I think it is scraper.
Scraper.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
That should be correct. Yeah, with 1 P.
Scrapper and scraper.
I like either one.
Yeah. 2 P's in scrapper. I know. I like how you said that, though. Centerton's okay. Yeah. Okay, let's show who can go to bed, shall we?
Yeah. Let me zoom out here. Whoop. Oh, there we go.
2 velocities
2 velocities
are better than none. Scrap it, scrap it.
Yes.
All right, everybody that's in basically everywhere can go to bed.
Yeah,
I think so.
There's not going to be any additional severe weather.
Sunday morning, Amber, I think you're going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
8 a.m. flight Sunday morning, XNA to Dallas will be affected. Understand if you're a nervous flyer, you're okay though.
Yeah.
There won't be anything, in my opinion, 8 a.m. Sunday morning, but that could change.
Especially with the new trends, though. It is trending towards a little bit earlier Saturday evening, which in turn means the storm should be out a little bit quicker Sunday morning.
Okay. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. Oh.
So check this out here. We're talking about a new radar. We have been pretty serious about this. We just have to find the funding. But I'm going to bring this up here, and we're going to take a look at something that's kind of cool. This is essentially what a new radar would look like. So there you get to see the KINX, KSRX, KLZK, and KSGF. So you've got Springfield, Tulsa, Fort Smith, that was installed after the April 21st, 1996 tornado, and Little Rock. But look at the lack of coverage over Benton County. You can see that right there over Benton and Bentonville, Rogers. So if we were to put that radar at Cartwright, look at how much better that radar coverage gets.
Absolutely.
And zoom out a little bit. And this is called an occultation study right there.
It's really cool.
I know. And that's in GR Earth that you can see that.
Wow.
So now you take it off of there again, and you can see the lack of radar data, and then it just gets a lot better.
It's kind of crazy to see how little radar coverage there is in Benton County, considering it's a major population center.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we need a local radar. So yeah, absolutely. All right, so that is looking at the importance of getting a local radar in. I think Kessler Mountain would be a great location because you'd be able to get that beam. That beam height will only be like a couple thousand feet above the ground.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
All right, back to the radar for us on Mega Doppler. It's just loud. That's all it is. So we're going back here to Mega Doppler, and yeah, we got thunderstorms. We knew it'd be loud. We knew it'd be noisy. We knew it'd be some rumbles of thunder. But none of this is severe. This is just a heavy rain event, and that's it.
Now, if you're traveling out and about early this morning, got to make sure you're taking it easy on the roadways and being very careful when it comes to flash flooding, because that is a concern. Though, as you were mentioning earlier, Dan, if it's going to wobble to the southeast, which hopefully it does that, maybe that prevents as much training of the thunderstorms over one particular area. We'll see if
it kind of looks like that's happening. The line is slowly shifting south while the cells are individually are moving east southeast. Mm-hmm. It does appear that the line is starting to slowly shift south.
Yeah.
Overall, which would limit the heavy rain potential. Yeah. Now it might be focused more in the river valley.
That's a good point.
So, well, we only got a few minutes left. hopefully they update. I am curious to see what they do for the day 3.
Yeah, me too.
Wait a minute. It's been updated.
That's been updated.
Oh, they kept everything north of us.
There it is.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Okay. Well, here is the new day 3 convective outlook, and I'm confused about it. I do agree that because the models aren't producing storms, so the coverage is going to be less.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But in that type of environment, we still have the potential. But
I'm surprised there's no like significant severe potential, you know, at the very least. Like maybe it's like a conditional threat, you know, for
Yeah.
significant severe. That surprises me a little bit too. Again, it's 3 days out. Nothing set in stone for sure. But that is interesting.
Aha. Let's go back to, yeah, I didn't think that looked like Cartwright's radar. I want to go back to this real quick. So this is essentially if you add Cartwright Mountain, but if we add Kessler to the coverage, now look, that is what we're talking about there.
That's more like it.
That's why we're thinking Kessler is way important to put on the risk. I don't know.
It's real.
No, I know it is. It just doesn't look like it's right. And I think you'll see it change anyway. So we've got so much to get through with this system. But look at that. We would be able to cover, take it off again. If we take Kessler, look at the lack of coverage over Benton, Washington, northern Washington, and Benton County. All 3 radars, Tulsa radar, all 3 Weather Service radars don't cover it. And then look at that.
That's incredible.
That's got great coverage.
Amazing. Will
Yeah.
help us out so much, especially with the QLCS events.
Yep.
No more vertical beams.
We should do day 3 is updated. We saw that.
Yeah.
Should do a GoFundMe.
Yeah, we should.
Just do it.
I feel like we could get some.
Wait to see everybody's got it on there.
Yeah.
And then of course we would allow that information to be released to the public, to the Weather Service, everybody. So yeah. Anyways, back to nothing. We're gonna call it a day. I think this is it. We saw the day 3 risk, day 2 risk, day 1, which is basically going through tomorrow. And I think the window is there for significant severe and supercells. It just has to have all the dominoes fall into place. So
yeah, a conditional threat. Conditional.
Very conditional.
Yes.
But even though it's conditional, they should have put a hatched area over us. Yeah.
I agree.
But they don't. So it's kind of like messaging is going to be a little strange.
It is. You know, and I was really surprised too that they didn't add a SIG 2 to the storms yesterday for that tornado potential in Oklahoma and Kansas.
The reason they didn't do that is because, you know, to have a conditional SIG 2, they'd probably get blasted by everyone if nothing developed.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true. You know how the social media.
Yeah.
It's like you can't win. You can't win with people, you know.
Last update, we still have people. And Josh is looking buff here. That's what someone said.
This guy motivates me, man.
You flexing?
I do every day.
Look at this.
Every day you're
getting this.
Every day this guy's getting bigger, so I'm like, I got to catch up here.
You're getting bigger, all right, from these Baja Blasts.
Yes.
Bring up the Mega Doppler here real quick. Yes. Everybody can go to bed. This is just good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. That's it. There could be one storm that becomes severe. You see that hail core north of Tahlequah, and it's got a little more lightning with it. But that's it. That's the only cell.
That's here. It's quarter size.
Yeah. So it could become severe.
Yeah.
Let's look if there's any circulation on that. Nope. Nope. And it's all outflow. Yeah. It's garbage.
Mid.
That might be the only real noisy storm that produces heavy rain. But Still going to get some thunderstorms and stuff. All right, time to scrapper the rest of this live stream. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. You'll be on at 5 a.m.
today.
Man, that's crazy.
That is a crazy outlook.
They did issue a mesoscale discussion talking about going through 8 to 9Z, so 4 a.m. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch. And cold pool, upright convection, leading edge of the cold pool, but overall magnitude should slowly decrease over time. So there we go. All right, bye, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. And God bless.
Absolutely. Yes.
We'll keep you updated later on today. River Valley, watch out. Going to be more storms this afternoon,
We'll be
evening.
here in a few hours.
Oh, man. All right, we'll see you.